Hi, I'm Andrew Rich, and if you're like me, you look at the state of modern wrestling discourse and think, wow, what a cesspool. That's why I'm here to tell you about Music of the Mat Remix. That's right, your favorite wrestling music podcast is back with a new format, where I bring on a guest and we play songs related to wrestling-themed topics. It could be a wrestling reference, a wrestling concept, a wrestling pun, things of that nature. Now you might be saying, Andrew, that is a very, very tenuous connection to pro wrestling on a wrestling podcast network. Is this just an excuse to hang out with your friends and talk about music and ignore the rest of the wrestling landscape? Yes. Yes, it is. So listen to Music of the Mat Remix on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network, available on Apple, Spotify, or your podcast player of choice.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.
This podcast is a member of the Voices of Wrestling Podcasting Network. Visit voicesofwrestling.com to hear the rest of our great podcasts, as well as show reviews, columns, opinions, and updates across the world of wrestling.
Thank you so much for supporting WWE and NXT and me. You're so sweet.
You are listening to the Flagship Podcast with your hosts, Joe Lanza.
Like, wrestling fans deserve nothing. I mean, it's just a terrible group of people. I mean, with the exception of our listeners.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Fine,
you guys are all
people.
good. You guys are all good. But yeah,
I mean,
most
in
other,
general,
yeah.
these wrestling fans, I mean, it's gross.
Rich Preach. Like, I'm not cool anyway. I don't need someone to tell me I'm cool or not. I'm well aware that I'm not cool. Oh, wow. I'm too old. I'm too old to be cool. It's over. When is the last time you were cool?
Rich, I'm cool right now. I don't know what you're talking about.
And we are live on the Flagship Podcast. I am Rich. He is Joe. We're both back home. There's no internet issues. We got a loaded show. A lot of great wrestling to talk about and a lot of bad wrestling to talk about, but a lot of wrestling to talk about. Ready to get after it. Flagship Podcast. What's going on, Joe? How are you?
Are you all right over there?
I'm good.
Chacho?
I'm all right.
During the intro, you're breathing. You sounded like Super Porky or Loch Ness or something.
Jeez, it's a little steamy. It's a little steamy here in the Chicagoland area. We got some Lanza hours going on here. It's a little hot, but yeah, I didn't know I was breathing. Now, thank you a lot. Now I'm gonna be completely, very, very self-conscious about this the entire time.
Well, I know you're an anxious boy.
So thank you for making me even more anxious now. I really appreciate it.
While we were both being quiet for the intro,
yeah.
You were breathing hard over there. I was like, wow, something wrong?
No,
you just,
think so.
did you put on some LBs? What's going on?
No, quite the contrary, actually.
Well, good. You're losing the LBs. Well,
losing the LBs, yeah.
Well, that's good to hear. I'm just saying, it sounded like
why would you put
struggling.
Why would you put this in my head?
I don't know. I should really think twice about that because, see, if you said that to me, I'd never think about it again. You're going to be thinking about it for the next 6 months. You're going to be on that mic, trying your hardest not to breathe into it.
I'm just going to mute. Yeah, anytime that I'm not talking, I'm going to mute. And I'm just going to think about my breath. Now I'm thinking about every breath I take and every move I make. This isn't good.
Just let it go, man. Frozen. Let it go. You can't hold on to things. I heard some weird breathing. You're telling me everything's okay, so it's over.
I don't know if everything's okay now. Maybe it's like an undiagnosed. Maybe like you figured out that I have some
scheduling an appointment with a doctor now.
I might, yeah.
Like, I do this pro wrestling podcast with this guy who lives 1,500 miles away, and he said I was breathing funny the other night. You know how bad that's going to sound when you go to the doctor and tell him that? He's going to send you to like what do they call
the loony bin or whatever?
A head shrinker or something. He's going to send you to a
head shrinker.
Sione.
Fatu and Sione are going to take care of me. Yeah.
No, you're fine. Your breathing actually sounds great now.
Thank you. I thought so. Yeah, yes. I thought so. Yeah, thank you.
You have tremendous breathing, the best breathing from you. It's just outstanding.
It's great breathing. It's everybody wishes they could breathe like I breathe.
Yeah, I agree. I must have just been hearing something. Don't worry about it. It's I don't think it was you. Maybe it was the wind or something coming out of that window over there or something. You're fine. Your breathing actually sounds tremendous.
Thank you. I thought so too. I've been taking very careful breaths here, so I'm glad that I might pass out at some point because now I'm thinking about it, trying not to breathe hard. So, yeah, thank you. I'm glad I've worked on it and I've improved, and now we can continue with our show here at Flagship Podcast. So, I had to ask you, and then we'll get to the wrestling. So you went to the beach house, right? Are we declaring? So you have a house that's on the beach.
Are you doxing me?
I mean, if you want to give the address, feel free. If is it like are you a landlord? Are you a landlord? Do I have to behead you? Or are you not a landlord? Is it a timeshare situation? What's going on? I want to know more about this beach house.
Well, I was a landlord for about half the existence of this podcast.
Oh no, yikes. Yikes, Joe.
It was great. There's nothing better than passive income, baby.
God damn it, the blue skies. We just got in good with the blue skies. We just got in good, and now you're going to ruin it here. Thanks a lot.
If you want to make a lot of money by doing nothing, I highly recommend landlording. I thought it was fantastic, but that property has long since been sold, so no longer a landlord. No.
Okay. So this beach house. Are we talking timeshare, short rental? What kind of beach house are we looking at?
There's no reason to get into specifics.
Okay.
It is the yearly trip, although I don't think we went last year.
You did not go last year. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't go last year. I think because my dog died, I was like, we weren't in the mood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because she used to come with us.
Oh, I see. Yeah. So you're like, I don't want to.
Yeah, we used to bring her down, and then she died, and we're like, well, this is going to be weird. So
yeah, the memories are not going to be there. Yeah, I thought there was also something with one of the kids had something going on, and you didn't want to take her out of it or take him out of it or whatever. So
I don't recall, but no, it just there's I'm not going to say where because people are psychotic, but there's somewhere that they like to go, and they like to, a couple times a year hang out at the beach.
So what book did you choose this year to read on the beach? Because I know Joe Lanza with a nice beach hat, like the floppy hat to cover your ears, because that's where actually most skin cancer comes from, the top of the ears. And I know you're careful about that. So your big floppy hat, chair with the umbrella, a drink with a pineapple in it, and a mini umbrella, and just open up a good book. What was it? What was the book this year?
I Will Never Touch Sand.
Now, have you even because the joke is, of course, you don't go to the beach. You go to the beach house.
I will never touch sand while the sun is up. That's okay. I should clarify.
Now this is hand, feet, body, like nothing.
No,
you never put the kids don't go into the water and then you just put your feet in the sand for a second.
No,
never.
They go in the water. They go with their mother. I know.
I'm saying, but you don't at one point just take your shoes off and say, let's feel the sand on my feet. Never once.
I will never step foot on a beach ever again in my life while the sun is up. That's never going to happen. It's understood. Everybody's fine with it. I mean, you're the only one that seems to be perplexed by it. Like TLB doesn't care. Like she's like, all right, yeah, we know your father's not going to go. They get up early in the morning, right? And they walk over to, because it's walking distance. And they walk over there and they do whatever they do. They come home a couple hours later. I'm just stretching, getting out of bed. Works out perfect. And then we move on with sometimes they'll go back later in the day and I'll just hang out and watch baseball on the porch. I like looking at the water.
Okay. So I think we've talked about that. And I think that's a good energy too. I'm glad, I would hate to have you be in the blinds are pulled and it's just you in a dark room watching baseball, watching afternoon baseball or whatever. But as long as you have a porch or a deck or something and you could see the beach there, I accept that energy. It's fine.
I get out there and I'll look at the water. I like the sight of it and
the sound. Do you like the optics, the sound of it at all, or no?
The breeze, nice breeze. Yeah. If it's too hot, I won't go out there. I don't know. I don't want to be outside in the summer. It seems dumb. I don't know.
Well, the way that you prevent, I just talked about ways to prevent skin cancer. You prevent skin cancer quite well by just not going out in the sun, which...
It's true. And my wife noted that I have amazing skin my skin is basically like a newborn baby's ass. I mean, it is just because I've never been in the sun because I just don't go on the sun. I have incredible skin, and that's probably a large reason why. Also, I don't ever let anything bother me, so I have like no stress.
Right, no stress. Yeah. Do you moisturize? Are you a moisturizer at all, or no?
No.
Okay.
No. That's part of that's part of the reason I don't like going out in daylight during the summer because my wife's always like, "Oh, you got to put this sunscreen on." I don't like putting gimmicks on my body. I'm like, get away from me with that. Like, we'll go out later at dusk. I'm not putting anything on I don't like that. I feel weird. I feel slimy. I'm not into that. So my solution is just I won't go out there because I do burn instantly. I've always burned instantly.
Yeah, and that's it's tough because there are a lot of people that I know that are like, "How do you like the sun?" or whatever, and then they go out and I'm it doesn't bother me that much. I kind of just tan. I really don't sunburn, but I have friends that they're out for 4 minutes and they're just red. And it's like, get inside. You're burning. You are just literally red. What happened? You've been out for 5 minutes and you were just completely burnt to a crisp. What happened here? But that's tough.
I burn
that's
instantly.
Tough.
So I just don't do well with the heat. It instantly gives me a headache. I don't know.
So, good thing you moved to Texas then. That was a smart idea. So
listen, cost of living, sir.
That's true. Landlord. You've got to be a landlord.
Well, that was okay. So
you don't have to go over the landlord story if you don't want to.
Well, so. I don't care. Like I'm not ashamed or embarrassed of it at all. I think like it's great. But the thing about it was that's when we got married. You only need one place to live, but we had two.
Mm-hmm.
So all right, let's rent it for a while. Stockpile some cash. But then once the process of the renters and the tenants became too much of a pain in the ass, we said we'll sell it, and that's what we did. Once it became too much of a hassle, I was like, all right, let's just sell the fucking thing now. So for a couple of years, absolutely, it's fantastic. Until they become too much of a pain in the ass. Then you just, all right, well, now just get rid of it because now it's more of a headache than it's worth. So we'll just take the lump sum,
For sure. And one of the beach house things. I'm not done with the passive income discussion. I don't care anymore. One of the highlights in our Discord.
You get so nervous. Like who?
No, I'm joking.
Who cares what some teenage tankies think? They mean nothing. They're irrelevant. Who cares what they think? They're gonna grow up and get jobs and become normal people like everybody else.
But
stop yapping on the internet. Anyway, keep going.
Anyway, no. The real highlight, the real reason I asked about the beach house is really, I mean, the big news on the Discord this week was you and your raccoon friends. Do you want to let people know what happened? If you're not on the Discord, you might not know about Joe's raccoon friends that you made here at the beach house. So explain what's going on here and how you became a raccoon guy so quickly. Because not a big wildlife guy. You never strike me as a big wildlife guy, but you were all in on these rabid raccoons.
I enjoy the animals. I don't know what you mean by that.
You don't enjoy outdoor animals? What outdoor animals do you like? Other than the dogs and cats. I'm not talking about dogs and cats.
I enjoy animals. What do you mean? I've always enjoyed animals.
No, you don't. You like possums? You think possums are cool?
I want nothing to do with a possum, but I like.
You like squirrels? You like squirrels?
Go to the fucking zoo like anyone else.
Do you like squirrels?
I could take them or leave.
Okay, see, I'm talking about like normal backyard animals. You don't like everybody likes a lion and a giraffe. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about like
monkeys. I like monkeys.
Yeah, but everybody likes monkeys. I'm talking about like going outside and birds. Are you a big bird guy?
We have a blue jay nest in the
don't fuck with them. Don't fuck with those guys. They'll whoop your ass.
There's a blue jay nest, and you are well aware that I have that nest of common birds.
Yes,
on my porch.
Sparrows. I believe they're sparrows. Yes,
whatever they are.
They're sparrows.
Street ptarmigans, whatever they are.
I believe they're sparrows.
And I always photo them. You're familiar with that.
Yeah, I'm familiar with They're a flock of a large flock of sparrows. Yes.
So birds are fine. I don't have any problem.
So you're pro bird. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out backyard animals that you're okay with because you can't say I like animals and then be like, I go to the zoo. It's like, well, everybody that likes animals. I mean,
who the hell likes squirrels? You just tolerate them. They're just, all right, there's a squirrel. Who's a fan of squirrels?
Yeah, I don't know if anybody's. No. I mean, they're fine. They're okay.
Your line of questioning is unfair because it's like, there's no such thing
A
as being
passionate
like a
squirrel fan. Yeah, nobody's
who's like, oh, stop the car. We got to look at that squirrel.
I do
that.
stop a car if squirrel's trying to cross the street. I don't want to run one over. I have done that before, and it's not good. I don't like it. The feeling of it.
I hit an animal once, and I think about it constantly.
I always think about that once. I hit one squirrel in my entire life of driving, and I still, that noise, the cracking of the butt is still in my head every single time I drive.
25 years ago. Can't stop thinking about it. It was awful. I don't know. I don't have a problem with animals.
Okay.
Anyway, driving around, and I said, let's drive to the end of the land here. Let's just keep driving until there's no more fucking road, right? Let's just explore. Get to the end of the gimmick there, at the end of the world or whatever. And there's some people sitting at the edge of the rocks right before you get to the water. And we're just sitting in the car, and I see a raccoon head pop up next to this. I'm like, that's a fucking raccoon. Kids are going nuts. They get out. I'm like, don't go near it. Last thing I need is them dying of rabies on there.
Getting bit by it.
So then I see another raccoon head pop up, and I'm like, what the fuck? Two raccoons? And then the family that was already there, the guy was like, oh, yeah, come here. There's like a dozen of them. Like a dozen of them.
It's a lot of raccoons.
Yes, we get out of the car and go over there, and there's like a little barrier, like, don't cross this because you're going to – then it's like the rocky jetty. They don't want you drowning,
jetty.
I guess.
Yeah, no jetties. Yeah, stay away from the jetties.
So water crashing on it and shit. It's like – so I look over, and no shit. And you saw the pictures and the videos.
There's a lot of raccoons.
It's like a dozen fucking raccoons. And the lady that was that family, the wife from the other family, she's hand feeding the raccoon. They're gently taking food out of her hand with their little raccoon hands,
which are objectively adorable. The little raccoon hands,
inches away from her, and they're just eating out of her hand. And the husband's feeding them like beef jerky, and they're feeding them all this food. There's a split watermelon over by the rocks that they're eating out of. So I never seen nothing like it, these raccoons. And then, so I go over there to take some pictures and film them. And the one little fella just comes frolicking right up to me. And I got that picture. He's like he's like 6 inches from me. And, he sized me up. But once he saw I didn't have any food, he didn't want nothing to do with me. Then he turned around and went on his way. But yeah, we found this this den of I don't know, something like a dozen docile, human-friendly raccoons. It was the most bizarre thing. So there was this old local who came, an old beach local.
Oh, yeah.
The old
and he saw
locals.
you guys from a mile away, and he's like, I'm going to tell him about the raccoons. And you were like, I hope this guy's going to tell me about the raccoons.
Exactly.
That's exactly what you're like. He knows, everybody knows, and you're just ready for it. He's like, hey.
Skin of leather.
Yep. Was he wearing a tank top maybe?
Tank
or shirtless?
Top. He's wearing the tank. Skin made of leather. He had looked like he maybe hadn't showered in a couple weeks. A beach local.
That's fine. He showers in the beach. He showers in the water. Who needs a real shower? He's got the
talking with an unlit cig hanging out of his mouth.
Yep.
Okay. No shoes. He comes
bicycle,
over.
Scooter, any sort of transportation.
I gotta be honest. I don't know where the fuck he came from. He just emerged.
He's ready. Well, he's just ready to go. He just cannot wait for someone to discover the raccoons for the first time.
This guy's like Cardona. He's just always ready. He just showed up. He just emerged out of the mist. I don't know where he came from because it was just that family and us. And also, bizarrely enough, there was this female park ranger or something. I don't know what she was. Some kind of sheriff or park ranger. And she was shooting TikToks with the raccoons. She had her little TikTok stand and her phone, and she's doing these dances and talking about the raccoons. I also got a photo of her for the Discord. And so this was some wild scene. We've got this female park ranger shooting TikToks with these raccoons. They're eating beef jerky out of people's hands. They have this little den under the rocks. It was and a lot of them were babies. So it was one mother raccoon and then a bunch of smaller ones. So I guess she was, my guess is she gave birth to these things a couple months ago or whatever. And they just they're probably going to dissipate, right? When they get old, when they all become adults, maybe they'll just scatter from
if they're getting food given to them, they might not go anywhere. They might just stay. That's the one issue with constantly feeding them is that they're not going to want to leave.
Maybe they're just going to stick around.
Yeah, and then you're going to have 100 of these things, and then it's going to become a real big problem.
Well, the beach local,
who, by the way, the beach local, I don't know if you go to the beach enough to know about this guy, but Left Said Fred says beach guy probably needed a break from metal detecting, because the beach guy is always a metal detector guy too.
Always they love the metal detectors.
Always metal detecting. They're either walking the beach back and forth, or sometimes they get in, they roll up their, like, if they're wearing pants, they'll roll up the pants, and they'll just be in the shallow side of the beach, just seeing if they can find a Rolex, a wedding ring, like something like that. And you would go up to them, you ask if they found anything, they go, you know. It's always kind of like, but they're, they found some stuff. They did.
The old 1970s metal detector with the big disc on the bottom.
Right. He's got the headphones on and the disc. Yeah, it's never like high-tech stuff. It's the old thing. And all of a sudden he stops. You're like, oh, he got something. And he goes down, and then he shuffles through it and looks, and he goes, oh, I guess he didn't. Okay. And then he goes back and does it back and forth. So anyway, that's metal detector guy, is also beach guy.
So he was saying that there's some other local who he thinks raised the original raccoons as pets, but then it became untenable, and brought the raccoons down there to that area because he says there's a guy that comes down there every morning with bowls of water and a fresh watermelon that he cracks open and puts in the den. And there was a watermelon down there, a bunch of watermelon husks. And now they've begun mating down there. So now there's dozens of them instead of just a couple that this guy raised.
I think this is going to be a problem.
So that's why they're docile and not scared of the humans, because they were raised by this other guy as pets, right? But now they're out in the wild and they're multiplying. So I found like a newspaper article on these things, and they're saying that they're not going to mess with them, but the fear is that eventually some stupid little kid or something is going to try to pick one up or pet it. It's going to bite them, and then they're going to have to go down there and do what nobody wants them to do to them once they bite somebody. But as long as everybody just, doesn't do anything stupid. But the thing is, they're so friendly and they're so cute that people it's hard. It's like little kids are going to picture them like they're a cat or something.
And they're very cute. They're undeniably cute, which is the problem.
But it's like, I wouldn't let my kids get too close to them. I'm like, look, there's still fucking raccoons out in the wild. Like, we'll take our pictures. You can, there seemed to be a little den of rats that are living with them too, because there were some rats running around that they seem to be living with, coming in to pick up the scraps of whatever the raccoons don't eat. So
there's a whole ecosystem going on down there.
There's a lot going on,
rocks,
and I don't think any of them belong there, like naturally. I don't think
there's supposed to be a den of raccoons next to the water
on the beach.
I don't think.
Wild shit. I will. Let me here. I got this article here. I'll send this to you.
So you don't tell everybody where you're at. I think I know. I think I found the article. I think I knew where you were at. So
yeah. That's it. Yeah, with the one raccoon standing up. Like,
yes. Yep. I was just reading the same article. So
yeah. So I don't know. It's like a local thing now. So I didn't know about it. We just accidentally found it. Just driving around, fucking around. So I don't know. Maybe we'll see if they're there next year.
Hopefully.
I suspect that they won't
sounds
be.
Fun. You could do the same thing if you just start hand feeding the raccoons. Do you have raccoons around your house at all?
I don't think I've ever. I'm sure there are. I've never seen one.
Yeah, we have a lot. We used to have a lot. We used to have one that would open my trash can every night, like constantly. He would always open our trash can, and it was like cute the one time, and then like it would get progressively worse. I'd come back, every morning and just be shit everywhere. Our whole driveway was just filled with he'd rip open the garbage bag. Just a mess of stuff. There's fucking spaghetti sauce everywhere. It's just a disaster. He just got into everything constantly. So one time, the nurse there's like a bake sale for her work. So she's putting together these like Oreo balls. It's I don't know if you had an Oreo ball before. It's like cream cheese and a bunch of stuff. You ground up Oreos or whatever, you put it in the fridge, and it's just like, it's just this ball of Oreo and cream cheese. It's pretty good. Very dense. I wouldn't recommend having a lot of them, but it's pretty good. So we make them. She goes to bed. She wakes up in the morning and goes, oh fuck, I left the Oreo balls out. Should I bring them to the bake sale. And I was like, you cannot bring those to the bake sale. Like, those have been sitting out all day. And she's like, and I'm like, no, you cannot go and sell those things at a bake sale. Like, you're going to be known as the woman who, they might not know it's you, but like the bake sale itself is going to get a bad name. People got sick from the bake sale, or people are going to figure out it was the Oreo balls or whatever. So I said, no, just toss that shit in the garbage. We're fine. So we put it in the garbage. I come home from work. The garbage is open, and the bag where all the Oreo balls were gone, completely gone. There's not a single shred of Oreo ball still left, and never saw a raccoon ever again in our backyard. So
they will eat anything.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately he went a little too far with the because I mean these were like, by the way, these were like 70 Oreo balls that had gone like pretty, you know, it was a hot summer day too. So not only did they get left out on the counter, but then they sat in our garbage, and he either decided, I'm good, those people suck, I'm not going to their yard anymore, or he just decided to not live anymore because, no more raccoon issues. But
people were bringing like restaurant leftovers.
Oh, they don't
like
care. Yeah, they're called, that's why they're trash pandas. You know, that's kind of the funny name for them now, that some minor league baseball team called the trash pandas now too, because they will literally eat anything. They do not give a fuck.
There were like crawfish shells down there, so somebody was feeding them crawfish. They'll eat anything.
No, that's awesome. That is awesome. That's beach town right there. Like, get them a fucking crawfish and let them handle it.
Just empty crawfish carcasses everywhere. So they're cracking those fuckers open with their little hands and sucking the meat out. And I don't know, but like I said, don't get too close to them. Don't get scratched or bitten by one of these things. Someone's going to do something stupid, though, and they're going to ruin it for everybody. They're going to do something very dumb.
You're right. Someone's going to walk over and pick one up, and then that's going to be the end of it.
Pick one up.
Yeah, and then it's going to bite them, and then that kid's going to die, and then, they're going to have to get rid of all their...
They have to kill them all. What they're going to do is kill them all is what they're going to do. But they're not fucking with anybody. They're very gentle. They just don't fuck with them. Just don't fuck with them.
Give me food. Give me crawfish and get the fuck out of here. So.
Yeah. But
so finally some tanukis in real life. So you Shoko Nakajima,
fucking tails,
little Shoko Nakajimas out there,
yeah. But I don't know. See, the thing, I don't know why people find it so strange that I don't want to be out in the sun in the summer. If you let me ask you a question. You come home from somewhere in the summer and you walk in your house and it's 90 degrees. Do you just let it be, or do you go put the air conditioner on?
I usually put the air conditioner on, yeah.
Like usually. Every 90 degrees, you're going to sit there? Of course, you go put the air on or a fan or something. If you're out and about in the summer and you walk in a restaurant and their air's broken, everybody's in there fanning themselves and it's 92 degrees, you walk out and you go to another restaurant.
Well, I will say I am not a fan of I like to eat outside in the summer as much as possible because I hate how cold restaurants are. Like you go in and it's like a fucking icebox. I don't like that. I get a headache from that.
Oh my God, I love it.
Oh yeah. See, I can't. I can't stand it. Because you go into summer and it's like 61 degrees and you're like, oh my fucking God, it's so cold in here. What is happening?
Oh, one of life's great pleasures is being outside in the summer, getting out of the car, and it's like, oh my God, it's fucking 98 degrees out here. It's fucking Nick Lachey out here. It's awful. You walk to the restaurant, you open that door and you get hit with that fucking cold air. Oh, that's one of life's pleasures. You just get hit with that fucking Arctic air from inside the Olive Garden or wherever the fuck. And it's great. How can you not enjoy that? That's one of life's little pleasures.
Not a fan. Yeah, I don't love it. It might be, and it's very possible. I live in a place where it's basically that hot for maybe 2 months out of the year, maybe 3 at most. But maybe it gets a little more boring when you're in Texas. But I don't like it's too cold. Too cold. I like air conditioning. Obviously, I like air conditioning, but restaurants go a little overboard. It's just like 58 degrees. Like, what are you doing here? Come on.
My point here is nobody sits inside in the heat on purpose. So why would you sit outside in the heat on purpose?
You got to get some.
It doesn't make sense.
Vitamin D, baby. Come on, you got to do it.
Why would I willingly, on purpose, without being forced at gunpoint, go outside when it's 95 or above? Fuck that. 85 or above.
Wow.
And like sit there and sweat on purpose when you could just go inside where it's cool and comfortable. I don't understand.
We're not going to see eye to eye on this. It's all right.
I'm not the crazy one.
It's all right. Yin and a yang. No. It's okay.
See, my father's the same way. I love it. It's 101 today. He'll go
my
out
guy,
there.
Yeah, my guy. Yeah.
Like, why are you torturing
Do a podcast
yourself?
with him. Yeah, get the fuck off here. Yeah, get him on the line. Get him on the line here.
Like, what are you torturing yourself for? It's hard to breathe. You can instantly get the heat headache. And I don't listen, I'm a man that does not like to sweat. I couldn't tell you.
Are you a naturally sweaty guy? I don't know if I ever encountered.
See, that's the problem.
Joanne's a sweat.
I'm not, which is why I get so hot.
Oh, see, I'm a sweater, so maybe that's the difference. Because I sweat like I go out and I'm just buckets immediately.
I hardly ever sweat, so that's worse because I feel, I don't get that natural cooling because I'm not a sweaty guy, So I just don't see the appeal of having that hot sun beating down on you. I'll go out at night. It's fine. It's fucking 78 degrees. Nice breeze coming off the water. Get a little Italian ice, whatever the fuck. That's nice. During the day, fuck that. I'll watch some baseball in the house.
Watch those people be hot.
That's right.
They chose to be hot.
Do a couple parlays. See if you can make some, it's a lot of fun.
But you were a hooper back in the day. You never played outside during the day? Always at night?
Not in the heat of the middle of the summer, no. It's just, it wasn't for me. I'd play in the spring. I'd play like at dusk. I'll play in the fall. But I wasn't going out there on August 1st at noon.
Best. Yeah, that's where the real hoopers are at, man. Yeah, the real hoopers are out there.
Bunch of psychopaths. There's indoor gyms for that. Go to the fucking
the Murphy Rec Center. Go to the Murphy Rec Center.
Go to the community center and play in the middle of the summer. And then you get to play on like the official, hardwood floor and the real 10-foot hoop, not whatever they're guessing in the park.
That is a big issue at the park. Is you just never know. I mean, there's
could be 8.5 feet, could be 11 feet.
Yeah, there's a park by me that we play full court and one half is like about 9.5. The other half's definitely 10. Double rims. The worst part about it is the line, the square on the backboard is not perfect. It's a little off. So you've been trained your entire life to hit that, go for a layup. I hit that square or whatever. You hit the square. It's a little off. It's just like, fuck, I can't get it. This is ridiculous. You know what I mean? It just drives me nuts, but I love it. Yeah. The double rims are the worst part though. That you got to be perfect. That's got to be a perfect shot to go down. If it hits that rim for 1 second, that shit's ricocheting 25 feet away.
Yeah, one rim with no net, the other rim with a net.
I will never do the net. If there's no net, I leave. I cannot play without a net. There's nothing worse than hitting a shot and it just nothing. You
just don't know.
Yeah,
right? Yeah. Did it go in? I don't know. I guess it did.
You need the satisfaction, even if it's the chain. Even if it's the chain nets, I'm okay with the chain nets. The chain's okay as it rips your hand up. Yeah.
Even a dilapidated net is fine. You gotta have something.
I just want something. Yeah.
But if you're like one end has no net, the other end has a net. Like you gotta shoot to see who gets the side with the net because no one wants to shoot at the side with no net. That's how it would always be. You'd shoot to see who gets the ball first, and then you'd shoot to see who gets to shoot at the net. That's how we did it down at my park. I don't know what you do out there.
Tends to be if you would shoot for the ball, but the team that doesn't get the ball would be able to choose what side they play at. Yeah.
See, and then winners get the net. Like, because, winners stay and they get the net.
Right.
Winners get the net. You got to win to get the net.
Oh, yeah, of course.
On like a Saturday, you go down there at 10 a.m. and play till fucking dark. Winner gets the net.
See, there you go. You just admitted you play during the day. I like it.
Yeah, but not in the middle of the fucking summer where I'm gonna die of heat exhaustion. You
gotta die of heat exhaustion. It's the best. Yeah.
Oh, you gotta die of heat exhaustion.
You gotta get a little heat exhaustion. You gotta build up that stress. Yeah. You gotta stress your body out a little bit. So.
You never have to do that to yourself in modern times. We are not cavemen. We're not living in the fucking medieval times. This isn't Land of Fire and Ice. What's the HBO show? This isn't Lord of the Rings. You don't have to live like that.
Game of Thrones, I believe, is what you're talking about.
Dungeons and Dragons, whatever. Game of Thrones.
Game of Thrones, yeah. Or what was the dragon? They had one called the House of the Dragon or whatever was their spinoff.
Well, that's the prequel or sequel or whatever, right? Yeah. Did you ever get into that? I tried to get into that. I watched like half of the first one.
No, it sucks because when you go to Iceland too, which obviously I've been there twice, like people are like, oh, oh, you're here because I'm like, oh god, here we go.
Oh yeah.
And they're like, oh, this is, you remember in season 3 when like Ophidian did, I'm like, no, I never watched it. They're like, really? Why are you here then? I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here for because there's like this, you're next to a volcano or something. They're like, oh yeah. No, you remember and no, I don't. Oh, this is when he did the okay. No, I don't care.
When Valdemar fucked the dragon.
But they have little signs everywhere too. It's like, you might remember this landmark from season 3, episode 4 of Game of Thrones, because they lean into it because they fucking know. I mean, yeah. Half the people there are there because of Game of Thrones, so that certainly helps them. But I never have any clue. Never watched it. I don't like fantasy stuff.
Fantasy shit.
Yeah, I'm good. Lord of the Rings, fucking House of the Dragon, Game of Thrones,
awful.
Harry Potter. You can have it all. Yeah, I don't need it.
Can't do it. I never watched 1 minute of Harry Potter.
Never. I haven't read a word, and I haven't watched a second of that shit. You can
keep
keep that.
Second.
Keep that.
I watched one Lord of the Rings because I was with some girl and we went to the movies. And it was torture, absolute torture. So I can't say I never saw any of the Lord of the Rings. I did see one.
Which one?
I don't fucking know.
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you which one.
Fucking cares.
They were marching around in the snow. I don't know. That could have been any other.
Looking for a ring, marching in the snow. Who the fuck knows? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But the trees were talking and shit. I don't know what was happening. But none of the others.
No, I got no time for any of that fantasy shit. I'm good.
I watched half an episode of what the fuck's the show we were just talking about?
Game of Thrones.
The Dragon Fuckers, Game of Thrones. I watched half an episode and then like my HBO Max I got a buffering wheel and I got frustrated and said, fuck, I'll watch later. And then that was like 7 years ago. So I never went back. Obviously.
Never went back. Yeah, you're fine.
I don't think I ever will. I just rewatched The Sopranos over and over.
Yeah. Why watch new shows if you just watch the old shows that are good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway.
Maybe we could rewatch some wrestling that's good.
Oh, there was you know what? Half of the stuff I watched this week, and I did a very smart thing. I don't know how you did it. We'll discuss all the wrestling that we're going to talk about here. I decided I kind of knew what was going to be bad and what I thought was going to be good, so I switched off. If I watched something bad, I then followed it with something good. And if I watched something bad, I followed it with something good. The problem was I ended my watching this week of TripleMania, Vikingo and Alberto, so that was not a great way to end it. But I did a pretty good job of watching CMLL's Tuesday show that we're going to talk about in Arena, Mexico. Then I watched Dominion, which was fucking atrocious. Then I went to AEW Grand Slam Mexico, which was great. Then I went to TripleMania. So I kind of found it, like a nice little balance. I don't know how you attacked this week, but I thought that was a good idea by me because it really, if I had done Dominion and then TripleMania back to back, I don't know what would have happened. That'd have been real tough to do that. You stacked the week early with Arena Mexico stuff and then finish it out with Dominion and TripleMania. That would have been no good. But, yeah, the absolute state of New Japan. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But yeah, here's what's up on the show tonight. We have AEW CMLL, a big Arena Mexico week for them. Tuesday, you have the CMLL versus AEW ROH show. So that was a fun show that I watched all of. Did you watch all of that Tuesday show or no?
I didn't watch any of it.
Okay, cool. Then you can lead me through it. I watched it all. I can bring it up. Grand Slam Mexico. Now, obviously, you did watch Grand Slam Mexico because you did the Thursday TV review over at flagshippatreon.com. People really do like that episode. I got some good feedback on that. Heard that people really, really enjoyed that episode. So you can go to flagshippatreon.com, subscribe to that $5 tier, and you can go listen to that. But I want to give some thoughts about Grand Slam Mexico because sometimes I don't get to talk about Dynamites, and sometimes it doesn't matter. It's just like a whatever Dynamite. I'm like, good or whatever. Even if it's an okay Dynamite, I'm like, I got no thoughts. But it's a Dynamite that I want to talk a little bit about. So I'll chime in with some thoughts on Grand Slam Mexico. Then we'll preview ROH CML Global Wars. That was taped last night, so we'll go spoiler free. We'll just let you know what was on the show. And then, of course, Fantastica Mania, which is coming up this Friday night in Arena Mexico. Fantastica Mania Mexico with a pretty loaded card there. So we'll do AEW, CMLL, Arena Mexico, a bunch of stuff going on there. We'll talk about New Japan's Dominion, 6:15 in Osaka Joe Hall, which I don't know what you thought of, but you had a comment in the Discord that led me to believe that you probably did not love this show because you said, can I stop watching Dominion? And then you said, can I stop watching New Japan? So, yeah.
I came very close to hand-waving the show.
I watched it all, so you should have. I think I said yes. I think I said yes, you can. You probably should have just hand-waved it.
I kept watching.
But,
I watched the whole show. But I got a little better as I moved along. But I could tell you the exact point where I said, fuck this. I could do something better with my life.
Was it when Evil wrestled half of a dog collar match without a dog collar on?
The Pirates are playing the Tigers, and surely I should just watch that instead. No. It was during the junior tag title match where there was the 19th ref bump and Dookie joined the House of Torture and there were 75 guys running in at all time. I'm like, why am I wasting my time with this company? And then the dog collar match was no picnic either, though. I have to admit.
Yeah, you tried to give that some high hopes. I knew you wanted it. I knew you wanted it to be good. You said, hey, it's a dog collar match. How can it be bad? Well, one way it can be bad is that one of the participants just doesn't wear the dog collar for 60% of the match, and then a bunch of people run in constantly. That's how you can make a dog collar match suck. And they achieved it. So congratulations to them. But we'll talk about that show in a little bit. We'll talk about the G1 Climax field because we have all of the participants for this year's G1 Climax. Get into it, including some play-in matches as well. We'll talk about Yuma Anzai, his absence. He's going to be out from July 1st to August 31st, meaning he will miss a couple of big tournaments and big shows for All Japan Pro Wrestling, so we'll maybe speculate on what's going on there. And then TripleMania Regia, right? 3, I believe it was. Their fake TripleMania that they had at the horrific main event for the mega title steel cage match, El Hijo del Vikingo versus Alberto El Patron. And
why are you so dead set on not watching the rest of this year? Like, all over the place, I saw you saying we will review TripleMania Regia, only the cage match.
Only the cage match.
To be clear, just Vikingo versus Alberto. Like, why are you so
I don't want to set expectations that they're going to get hot takes on Moose versus Wagner 3 versus El Macias versus Joe Hendry for the TNA X Division title. I don't want to give people false hope. Now, did you watch the entire TripleMania show?
Well, they only aired 3 matches, so yeah, I watched all 3 matches.
Okay, I didn't know they only aired 3 matches. I probably could have watched that then, I guess. But this is a classic example of under promise, over deliver, right? We're giving them bonus. I'm telling people, we're only going to review the steel cage match, but nay. You have in-depth thoughts about Los Garza winning the AAA World Tag Team titles in a fatal 4-way.
What does power forward of the Denver Nuggets Nene have to do with this?
Nene Hilario. Maybiner Hilario. Yeah,
from 22 years ago or whenever it is that he played. Nene.
I like Nene, yeah. He was a good player. He lasted a lot longer than people thought.
He'd always end up on my 2K team somehow.
Well, but you know what? Because you drafted all the cool players, and then you went, fuck, I need a power forward. I don't have any rebounding. So then you sorted by rebounding, and then there's Nene.
Right.
With a little thing over the E, and you're like,
yeah.
91 rebounding. That's pretty good. Like, I don't need him to score. I got a bunch of scorers. I don't need another scorer, but fuck, I could use some rebounding. Reggie Evans was always my guy because you'd sort. He was like a 98 rebound. You're like, good. I don't need him to score. I don't want him to score. I just need get boards, man. Get boards. Everybody else can score on this team. I need a guy who can just get down and dirty there. So.
Another guy I always had on my team, and he was always an effective slasher to the basket, was Bonzi Wells.
Oh, Bonzi Wells. Love some Bonzi Wells, yeah.
For whatever reason. He always a nice slasher to the basket, Bonzi Wells. And I always had Capono for
Jason Capono. Yeah, the thing with Capono is he has a very easy shot.
Yeah.
Like, it's not because sometimes you get like a 3-point shooter. You're like, that guy's a good 3-point shooter. But then his shot's a little weird. Like Klay Thompson, I remember I'd always like draft him, and then I'd be like, fuck, his shot's just a little weird. Capono is like every white guy shoots exactly like Capono.
Right.
So as a white guy that shoots 3-pointers, I'm like, I got it.
Yeah.
I know exactly his launch. Everything's perfect. So yeah, Capono's a great. And also you would sort. You'd be like, fuck, I need some 3-point shooting off the bench. You sort. There's a 93 3-point shooter there. 68 overall. That's good. Who cares? That's fine. I just need some threes.
He's my ninth man. I don't care.
I just want him to get off the bench, hit 3 threes, and get out of there. So.
Yeah. See, all of us were ahead of the curve on threes in 2K. Way before the 3-point revolution. In video games, we all built our teams like that. We were smarter than NBA GMs when we were 16. All of us. Because that's how we all played. We all took 53s a game and not a single mid-range jump shot. Dunks, layups, and threes.
Yeah, of course.
And that's what the NBA eventually became.
Yeah, you'd play I remember playing guys online in 2K, the original 2K, and they'd like take out their center and put a point guard there. I'm like, what is this? This is crazy. And then just shoot threes. Take out some shitty white center. We don't need Scott Pollard out there. I'm going to replace him with Hito Turkoglu, and Hito Turkoglu is going to be my center, and I'm going to fucking kill you on Dreamcast Online because all my guys can shoot threes. Way ahead of the curve. That guy's not a GM right now. That guy's probably just working at Best Buy or something like that. And it's like, fuck, that guy that I played in 2001 on the Dreamcast. That guy should be a GM. He knew what the fuck was going on way before all these other idiots.
He's definitely not in the league. He's down at the beach telling people about the raccoon.
That's that guy.
Yeah.
Right.
You know.
And all those years ago, he's like, no, Vlade Divac isn't going to be my starting center. Who fucking cares? I don't need rebounding or defense. I need scoring and threes. Anyway, I will say, Joe, I put a poll up. Restaurant air conditioning is lapping the field here, 81 to 19%.
One of life's little pleasures. It's to walk into a place, and it's subarctic temperatures when it's 100 outside. It's so nice.
Too cold. It's too cold.
No, man, I want my nipples to get hard.
You need a jacket. You need to go to your car to find a jacket.
Yes, I want my wife and the girl to complain that they're chilly because they're wearing a little sundress or something. That's optimum.
Maybe that's actually a big reason why I don't like it as much, because it's always like we walk in and then she's like, I'm cold. Do you have a jacket in your car?
Oh, they're cold instantly.
And I'm like, oh my God, it's fucking August. I probably don't have a jacket in my car, but I'll look, and I need some dusty ass, hoodie that's in the corner. And I'm like, it's probably sweaty, but you can take it if you want.
Yeah. A Chicago White Sox hoodie, three logos old,
right.
3 logos old.
I use it to, if I'm mowing the lawn in the spring and I never got it out of there. I just threw it in the back.
Threw it in the trunk.
Yeah.
Like,
there you go.
Smells like grass clippings from.
Right, here you go. It doesn't fit you at all, and it's got grass stains all over it, but keep you warm at least. So. Anyway, all right.
While she's eating her mozzarella sticks. Order something hot. You'll be fine.
Get a soup. There's probably a good soup on the menu. So. Let's talk about wrestling, I guess, right? Let's talk about wrestling. How do you want to start this? There's good wrestling. There's bad wrestling. What path do you want to go on to cover all this wrestling?
I don't know. You lead the way.
I'll lead the way.
All
right. Well, New Japan not first. They deserve to be pushed to the back. Fuck. We're gonna do good shows first. We'll do good shows.
Could
first.
open with New Japan. There's a lot to talk about.
I don't deserve it.
The dopey G1 field and everything too that we got to get to. New Japan, suck out your soul or whatever that show.
The soul.
Yeah.
Soul sucking. They definitely feel like they're soul sucking it sometimes. But all right, fine. You want to do fucking New Japan? Let's do it.
Let's just get it over with. Yeah, let's do the New Japan.
That's not a bad idea. Just get it over with. All right.
It's Dominion. It's a big time show.
Big time show. Osaka Joe Hall. I think about 700 less tickets sold year over year. So that's not great. But hey, I think someone told me that.
Well, what'd someone tell you?
No, go on. What do you got?
No, what'd someone tell you?
No, so, somebody was looking at Stardom attendances. Now, not at Osaka Joe Hall, because nobody else runs Osaka Joe Hall, but I think All-Star Grand Queendom this year actually outdrew Dominion, which probably shouldn't happen, but regardless.
I wouldn't know. I don't know the comparison.
Yeah, I forget what arena it was at.
I'll take your word for it. If it's look, we said it last week. This is a promotion that doesn't have a star. I mean, I think this is a bad sign, and I think as more and more people figure out, oh yeah, there's no star, there's no ace, that things might continue slowly getting worse and worse. And sometimes you don't immediately fall off a cliff. Sometimes it's just you turn around and it's you look in the mirror and you got half a head of gray hair and you don't know where it came from, right? Because it's gradual. And it's like, that's what I think could happen here if they don't figure out how to make a star. Because, it's like we said in the preview, there's no ace, there's no star. They're Hiroki Goto, who they had already downcycled in their booking years ago, is now their champion and their top guy because they have nowhere else to turn. And you're going to draw 700 less fans year over year, and the next year you're going to draw 1,000 less than that, and then the year after that you're going to draw 1,200 less than that, and you turn around and you're in another dark age. I don't think I'm being overly dramatic because they don't have any veteran stars to hold down the fort while they try to get some of these guys over, and they're not trying very hard to get many of these guys over. So it's a dangerous combination. We all saw this coming. They moved too slow on everyone. And then when they did try with Shota Umino, the fans didn't want it. And now could be too late. You know, that they might see some of these other guys at a certain level and they might not be able to get them over. And, you know, they gave Gabe Kidd a big win. So, you know, that's a move in the right direction. But he beat one of the other guys that could be one of the guys you could be pushing. So, I don't know. And then you had Hiroshi Tanahashi beat Yuya Uemura for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, obviously you would think that they'll wrestle again and Uemura will get him. But it just doesn't come across like a promotion that you don't feel like they have any kind of sense of urgency to get this thing turned around. And the prevailing through line of this show was just adding people to their top heel unit. That seemed to be more of a priority. That seems to be more of a priority to them than finding a new babyface ace. It's what can we do to strengthen the heel unit? And maybe they feel like the stronger the House of Torture is, since we don't have a top babyface, if we have a strong heel unit for the fans to rally against, maybe that can, you know, be what we use in place of a top babyface. But it's just a depressing promotion to watch. And I thought the show looked good on paper. And I came out of this like as down on New Japan as I've been in a long time. And I've been down on them a lot. So it's not like I'm starting from super high points.
It's felt like the nadir for me. And you know me, I've been really up and down. I've been really riding a roller coaster in New Japan for a couple years now. And for some of the same issues that you just laid out, it's just like, you got to get this next generation over. And I was saying that when Will Ospreay was still there. I was saying that when Okada was still there. I was saying that when Naito was still there. I was saying that when Tanahashi was still there, because they used to be so good at that. They used to be a couple steps ahead. And it was like, one guy leaves, we're ready. We don't need this next guy. You know, that guy wants to leave. Great. We got somebody else. This guy leaves. We got somebody else. They were always ready to restock and reshuffle and get new guys pushed up there. And I started to sense that even a couple of years ago. I'm like, they don't have the next guy at all anymore. They don't have anybody, not even the next guy, the next couple of guys. They used to have a couple. They used to have a stable of dudes. And then Jay White leaves, and Ospreay leaves, and Okada leaves, and Naito's gone, and Tanahashi's gone. And like you said, you really look up now and you're like, who do they have? Like who are the horses in this company? And you're absolutely right that they might be thinking, since we don't have that guy, let's have a bunch of heels, and then by proxy, even though we don't have top baby faces, they will be seen as big time baby faces because the heels are so dastardly or whatever. But the other thing too, and it's what's so disheartening about this House of Torture thing, is these fuckers lost that cage match. You know, they had this big time, and we laughed about it at the time too. What are the stakes of this match? There's only one team will be left standing, the War Dogs versus the House of Torture, right? Like, we're sold as bill of goods on this match being a big time deal. The War Dogs beat the House of Torture, and then a month later, the House of Torture just reshuffles and is stronger than ever. It's like, what are we doing here? What are we really doing here?
It's, I mean, you look and set Goto aside, because that was working for a little while. And look, I even tried to warn of this, where eventually the Goto thing, people are going to be like, all right, we did that. Like, there's not as much excitement even around that anymore. And that was going to wear out its welcome. And I talked a couple of months ago how you kind of had to make the move before people got tired of it. You couldn't wait to react once it stopped effectively drawing. Was this show doing nearly 1,000 less fans than the year before a sign that people are over the Goto thing? It could be. But again, now if it is, you've already waited too long to figure out what your next move was going to be. But the next move, but the thing is, there was no next move. He's going to have it. He's going to be the champion during the G1. So I don't know if that means he's going to go into Wrestle Kingdom as champion. But like we said last week, I think they think Tanahashi's going to carry the dome. But you just keep kicking the can down the road here, because then he's gone too. And now they're really all gone, both symbolically and literally. They're all gone after Wrestle Kingdom. So they're putting titles not just on Hiroki Goto, who they had already downcycled years ago. They put a title on Tomohiro Ishii on this show. And not like the King of Pro Wrestling title. The tag team title. Yeah. They put the tag team title on Tomohiro Ishii, and I like Tomohiro Ishii, but again, that's a guy that they never pushed as any kind of single or serious he was just a guy that would be there to have good matches and lose. And his partner's another guy who they downcycled and have yanked out of G1s in recent years.
Yeah, I mean, Ishii's been effectively downcycled for a couple years now. I mean,
like 3-4 years, and he was never pushed before that anyway.
Right, the never openweight title was his peak. That was that was about as high as he would go. He get occasional title matches here and there, but we're also talking about 2016.
That was 10 years ago. And Taichi's another guy who they had yanked out of G1s recently, and now they put their tag titles because there's no one else there. So now they've got to move guys back up who have long since been moved down the card. Whereas people like Tomohiro Ishii and Hiroki Goto and Taichi, they were nice veteran depth. So you could have a nice professional card from top to bottom and guys that you were never going to move up from the mid card and guys that you didn't even need to have in a G1 anymore, right? Now they're carrying your top titles because you've got nowhere else to turn. And it is all they're doing because they've moved too slow. They've just moved too slow with everyone. And I guess Gabe Kidd is going to be the one that they get behind the hardest and the soonest. He's having a match with Tanahashi. I guess they think that could be a big match. Tanahashi's last shot at I guess it'll be, I assume he said he wanted to defend the title against Tanahashi, right? So there might be something there. But again, we're counting on Tanahashi. He's going to be gone in 6 months. And then I didn't see anything else on this show that told me that they're getting behind any of these other guys. I mean, Uemura lost and Tsuji lost. And some of the other guys were just, like buried in tags or whatever. And,
right.
And
Oleg won the never title, but that doesn't mean you're ready to push him higher than. I mean, it's something.
Okay. It's nice that he beat Takeshita, but I don't feel like he's on the doorstep of being a big time babyface draw. And I wouldn't mind if they pushed him and pushed him hard. I mean, that's fine too, but the point is they had a lot of time to do this. They had a lot of time and they just dragged their feet. How many this is going to be the G1. Mm-hmm. Oh, we got four blocks. We could have young guys come out of all the blocks and then it's we have
you remember me. I
now.
Ranted and raved about that, and a lot of people got mad at me, and I said this is so stupid to put all the young guys in one block. Because they did that a couple years ago, and it was, these guys, they'll be able to tell stories about all these guys.
Build rivalries.
Yeah, how's that going? What rivalry? What did they build? They did nothing with it. I thought
turn out?
That G1 was the best one to have when you have 4 blocks, you put a super young guy in every single one of those blocks. And they don't have to win every single one of those blocks, but the story is that young guy, that young guy, that young guy, and that young guy were the young dudes in their block, filled with veterans. And here they are getting big wins over veterans. I mean, again, they didn't have to win. I didn't need all 4 of the young guys to go through if you didn't want to do that. That's a little extreme, but I thought it would be a way better idea to have it split up a little bit more like that. They didn't do that. It was like all the young guys and then Sonata was in a block. And it's like, what is this? This is doing nothing for anybody. And it did nothing for anybody because we're here 3 years later. I forget exactly which G1 it was. And what stories do we remember? Do we remember the Yota Tsuji, Shota Umino story that they told during that G1? No, I don't fucking care. I don't even know if that was the story. Who knows? Who fucking cares? It's not working. All I can tell you is it does not work.
They didn't plant seeds to anything that's drawing money 3 years on or whatever it is. That's the point. I mean, you look at every G1 winner since the pandemic. Okada, Naito, Zack Sabre Jr.
Yeah. It's not good. That's old. That's a lot of old dudes.
Okay. Now, you can't predict Okada was going to leave. I understand that. I'm not going to knock him too hard for that. Okay. Naito, I guess they wanted to give him one last rodeo and put him in a dome main event and all that. Whatever. Sabre, okay, you didn't have anybody, now we're deep into the air, we're in it. But somewhere along the lines, shouldn't have one of these young guys won one of these fucking things in the last 5 years? They're all just spinning their wheels, every single one of them. So, do I expect one of these guys to win a G? I mean, no. It'll probably be fucking Zack Sabre Jr. again or something because he's conspicuously doing nothing. Doesn't that make you wary? Like they do nothing with him? So it's like, that's someone who he could come out of nowhere and win it again because they don't have anything else for him. Like they're saving him to win the G1 or something. And the thing is, like, you can't trust them because we've been doing this for 5 years. Why am I going to sit here and predict?
Right. I think the prevailing thought I had after Dominion is that this company does not deserve the benefit of the doubt anymore, and Gato does not deserve the benefit of the doubt. So you can't go with we got it. We got to trust them there because it's been very long since Gato, and it's been very long since New Japan has really delivered on. Like you always used to say, there was I always remember this was the tent pole. The temple thing about all of New Japan Pro Wrestling and all is that there'd be times where we'd be like, I don't know, that doesn't make sense. But you would always say, at the end of the day, something's going to happen and that light bulb's going to go off and you're going to go, fuck, Gato got us again. He's been building this shit up for 3 years now. Yeah. And now it makes sense why this happened. And now it makes sense why that happened. He did it again. He got us. He's so good at this.
The light bulb booking.
Yeah, the light bulb booking. I don't know, that thing. You got to replace that shit because I don't know what's going on with this booking right now because it's like you said, it doesn't seem like it's anything but just fill up the House of Torture and hope that the heel group makes everybody else feel The other thing too about and Sean Cedar pointed this out in the chat room, and I completely forgot about it. Remember when the build to Wrestle Kingdom this year was that Evil had been doing horrible things and being awful and being a shithead and all that sort of stuff, and it was this big match with Tanahashi, and I got mad, and I think whatever, and I think you even sort of defended it too, that Tanahashi versus Evil, that's good because it's going to be Tanahashi getting the win over the hated Evil, and it's just a nice way to get a big pop in the Tokyo Dome or whatever, and with this idea that like Tanahashi might be vanquishing House of Torture, might be vanquishing Evil, and then Evil went away for a little bit. Remember, he went away, he went to hiding.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "Oh, good, we're gonna finally get a new coat." Nope, no new coat of paint, nothing. This unit is bigger and stronger than ever. Oh wait, now they have a tag team, a cage match with the War Dogs. Oh, they lose that too. Okay, well then that's surely gonna be. Nope, they're back. They're bigger than ever. It's just like, what is happening? What is this?
I know. They're building the company around House of Torture.
God.
Instead of building some baby faces, instead of taking some chances and trying to push somebody, this is the route they're taking. And I just, I wish, you see the Bullet Club worked so well for them for a decade, and they made money hand over fist. And it was one of the major backbones in the promotion through all the ups and downs, whether you liked the Bullet Club, whether you hated them, whether you went through phases with them. And it doesn't exist anymore. The House of Torture splintered off. War Dogs splintered off. Bullet Club doesn't really exist. And now House of Torture is essentially just the Bullet Club. Like, same thing, different name, slightly different aesthetic. And then you have Pro Wrestling Noah doing the Team 2000X thing, which is clearly patterned after what New Japan has done with the Bullet Club for the last 15 years or, however many years, 12 years, however long the Bullet Club has existed.
Very Americanized, too, I will say about that, the Team 2000 thing, because now guys are just swerving and turning for no fucking reason. Like, why is Takashi Sugiura in Team 2000X? Like, what are we doing here? Come on.
Because why the fuck not?
Right, we're doing NWO stuff. It's like, he swivels the hips and he hits a guy with the chair, because why not? Fuck you, that's why.
And it's like, I would love to see New Japan take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, okay, we kind of innovated this Western heel stable thing. Not like heel stables didn't exist in Japan for a long time, but this one really made a lot of money and was successful, and now they're copying themselves, and now Noah's copying them. And I'd like them to take a step back, take a deep breath, and say, let's change the game again. Why don't we try something different, blow this up, and try something new? Pattern ourselves after the way, still have heels and whatnot, but they're not overtly doing ref bumps and cheating and running in all the time, and get rid of the Bullet Club style heel units. And since we are still the top promotion in Japan and we have some customer buy-in from our fans, they'll give that a chance, and then maybe we can get away from this. But instead, they're leaning in harder. They're leaning in harder on this. So it's no surprise that Noah copied, and it's working. Ozawa's drawing. So they're going to lean harder on it too and do like you're saying, just have guys randomly join. And all the other promotions are probably keeping an eye on this too. And it's a vicious cycle. And it makes these promotions really unwatchable. I mean, it's not fun to watch these shows at all. I get no enjoyment out of watching the baby faces bumble around like fools and try to overcome the House of Torture's latest trick. It's not entertaining.
The latest trick is always the same trick. It's never different either. Oh, the goddamn pipe. Oh, goddamn it. And then Dick Togo runs in with the garrote wire. Oh, goddamn it. That fucking dick. Ah, dick on dick contact. It's always the same. It's always the same run-in, too. The latest trick is the same trick. I guess the latest trick this time is fucking Don Fale. Bad Luck Fale coming back with a repackage. That's their latest trick. He was the key cog in the dog collar match. Was Don Fale.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be one thing if you do this shit with Don Fale and Chase Owens and Dookie, and it's just relegated to the prelims and it doesn't really matter. But it's like the top stuff in the company. I mean, we're trying to figure out who's going to beat Hiroki Goto. It's probably going to be Evil. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Just, if they're going to build the company around this stuff, then just put the title on one of those guys and have baby faces chase them. I think that, look, I haven't thought about this super hard. I think the two favorites for the G1 are Evil and Hiroshi Tanahashi.
Oh, God.
I mean, if why not go all the way with Tanahashi if it's his last dome?
Yeah, you're trying to build that dome up, yeah.
Honestly, that's probably the biggest drawing card that they have is Tanahashi challenging for the title on his last night in the company. What would draw bigger than that? Now,
not much. I mean, I would obviously use that Wrestle Kingdom as me spitballing again, wild idea. You have your one big star departing. I would then crown a new guy in that moment. But yeah, they haven't done that. They didn't do that with any of those other guys. And then who was positioned for it. But that was the other issue with a lot of these guys that we said that left is a lot of these guys just left, and it was like they didn't really put anybody over on the way out. They didn't really make anybody on their way out. They just they left. I mean, Naito just left. You know what I mean? You had Tetsuya Naito, one of your and he just left. He just went away. I guess he kind of sort of put over Callum Newman, kind of, if you squint a little bit, but it's just like, yeah, he just went. Just gone. Will, Jay White, Okada, they just went. They just went away.
If you handed me the book and said draw the most money possible at Wrestle Kingdom, I'm having Tanahashi win the G1.
Yeah, don't think long term. Just get the most people in the Tokyo Dome possible.
Yeah. If my goal is to draw the biggest gate at Wrestle Kingdom, that's what I'm doing. And maybe that's their goal, and then figure it out after that. I mean, he could lose. Obviously, he'll lose, but it's like, put over Hiroki Goto? I don't know. I think it's Tanahashi, Evil, or Shota. If they're going to pick a young guy, it's going to be Shota Umino.
It'll probably be Shota again.
The least exciting choice. I mean, that guy, I watched him very closely on this show. He's a zilch.
He's a fucking zilch. Somebody brought this up in the chat room, and it's a great point, that Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino were in the main event of this year's Wrestle Kingdom, Joe. This year's Tokyo Dome. Main evented with Zack Sabre Jr. and Shota Umino, and they were on, if we ignore the pre-show match or whatever, they were on the second match on the show. A nothing happening tag match with Zack Sabre Jr. versus Shota Umino, which is just thrown in there. You know what I mean? Just a nothing happening match. And like you said, you watch it and you're like, that guy right there, this guy that's a fucking nothing, this zilch, it was in the main event of the Tokyo Dome this year, this calendar year, 2025. They're
not booing him anymore.
Apathy, just total apathy for him.
I mean, they're not booing him anymore. At least it's like, but you feel like that's the one, that's the guy they like best. If you're keeping Gabe Kidd out of it because he's a gaijin, you feel like they like him better than these other guys. I don't understand it, but it's really a depressing promotion to watch. I mean, it's no juice. And, we're kind of reaching the end of the line with this Goto thing in terms of it's not a novelty anymore. Now it's kind of just sad, like, and nothing against him, but that's your top guy by default. By default, That's your top guy. If you have nowhere else to turn.
obviously it was the right thing to do with him, and obviously the business showed that it was the right thing to do with him. But like you said, you had to maybe make a tough decision a month or so ago or 2 months ago and say, all right, we need to get out of this before. But now that man is going to presumably go into Wrestle Kingdom as the champion, right? I mean, like he's gonna go through the whole G1 as champion. Maybe he loses it at some random show in the fall or whatever. But I mean, the way it looks right now, it's like I don't know, I wouldn't be surprised if he walked into Wrestle Kingdom as the champion. And it's like, did you really want that? Did you really want Hiroki Goto to have like a year-long title reign? I mean, that's probably not ideal. I think you wanted him to have that fun little reign and pop a number and give people that final moment or whatever, oh, he finally did it, and have a couple months where he's the champ. But yeah, they kind of, like I said, got caught in a situation where it was like, well, there's nobody really else to go to, so we're just going to stick with Goto for a while. But that's going to have a shelf life, and you're right, we might already be reaching that shelf life.
I think we're there, and I think that you got a bunch of units that kind of exist but don't. Does LIJ exist? I don't know the answer to that.
Well, maybe less than ever right now. Did you see what Teton said? I don't know if it was translated incorrectly or if I'm reading too much into it, but did you see that interview that Teton gave?
I did not see Teton's interview, no.
So Teton gave an interview talking about the Fantasticomania show on Friday and said, I think, and someone in the chat room can correct me if I maybe saw a mistranslation or something like that, but essentially said that this Friday will be the last time you'll see Hiromu, Shingo, and Teton team up as LIJ.
So they're like, maybe they exist, maybe they don't. Does United Empire exist?
If they could find a leader, right?
I mean, they're still wearing the gear.
They're still wearing the gear, but yeah, effectively, nobody cares.
Do they? It's like these units are just they're kind of just floating around.
There's a lot of Hantai out there, but it's like, just we don't need Hantai then. If it's if half the companies in Hantai they don't need to be in a unit. They just exist without a unit.
I guess okay. TMDK is just the same as ever.
God,
but
who cares? Yeah,
you these other ones are like half dead, half alive, and you get the sense that they don't even know what to do with them. Like, what are we doing with the United Empire guys? They're still wearing the colors. But they don't really exist.
They do the finger thing occasionally. They'll do the finger thing occasionally. But yeah, are we thinking about the leadership and the hierarchy of the United Empire? Nobody cares. You don't care.
Same thing with LIJ. Like, this is the slowest disband I've ever seen. There's kind of half existing and half not existing. And
hey, remember 7 years ago when we wondered when Hiromu Takahashi was going to go to heavyweight? When they would push him as a heavyweight?
Well, that's never happened.
Yeah, it's clearly never happened. He's not in the G1, so it's like, all right, well, that's one thing you could do maybe different than. But at this point, I don't care. I mean, it doesn't really bother me, but it's just like, really, no, never going to do it. Just never, ever going to put Hiromu Takahashi in a heavyweight. Okay, that's fine. Whatever.
I just get the sense they don't know what to do with all these people.
Yeah.
Because they didn't expect Naito to leave. They probably didn't expect Jeff Cobb to leave. So they're like, we just have all these people in these rudderless, leaderless units distributed all over the card. Let's just keep putting people in House of Torture. Which is what Noah's doing with Team 2000X. Just keep putting people in it. Just
and the guys leave.
Angle.
And the guys leave too, and that's an angle too. Tetsuya Endo joins it. A month later, he leaves it. Takashi Shigera joins it. He just joins it. He's Noah Trueblood just says, fuck it. I don't like Noah anymore. Team 2000X, let's go. It's like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
No real reasoning. No, just fuck you. That's why. Classic NWO bullshit.
Well, what was the reason?
I don't even know if he gave a reason, to be honest. I read something and he was just like, I'm sick of things. And I was like, what?
I'm sick of things.
It was just like a terrible again, like it's always tough when it's like translated or whatever. But yeah,
can't beat them, join them.
Right, kind of, yeah, sort of. I was just like, what a fucking god, this is dire.
Yeah, well, it seemed like he would have been a good opponent for Ozawa.
Yeah,
he's just a no nonsense tough guy, and
yeah,
it would have been a nice dichotomy there, but
he also, did you see the match too? Because it was that three-way match, and he wrestled like 40% of the match normally, and then just decided, nah, fuck this, I'm turning it on.
Oh, your favorite thing?
Yeah. It's like, why'd you wrestle normally for that long? And then decide, you know what, fuck it, I can't. I might as well just join him. The referee has been incapacitated. I will now turn on the guy that I was just fighting. It's like, what are we doing? Or turn with the guy I'm fighting. Who cares? It's fucking. eat at Arby's. Anyway.
All right, well, let's go through this.
Yeah. You know what? Did you watch the pre-show match with the Young Lions?
Yeah.
Match fucking rocked. That was like my second favorite match on the night.
Well,
and
that's what I tell you every
my
time.
notes say, why can't it all be like this?
Right.
I know it can't be exactly like this, but why can't it all be like this? What a great story. What a great match this was.
Yeah, and you say it can't be, but it really can. It has been in the past. And that's what I mean. Why don't you be bold and change the game? Right? Let's go back to however you want to term it. You know, people will say, oh, sports-based or just fucking strong style, whatever you want to call it. There's no one stopping you from doing that with your promotion. There's no one stopping you from doing that except for you. You know, it's you don't have to have everybody out there in black tights like Tatsumi Fujinami and Riki Choshu. You can have a little bit of flair, but you can get rid of these overbearing heel units. There's no law that says you have to have this, but business is bad and they're scared, and they probably are scared to make big changes, and they're clearly scared to try to push anybody. So we're going to just lean harder into the House of Torture. I mean, Evil's as good a choice on top as anyone that they have left.
Horrific.
He really is.
It's a horrific thought, but you're right.
I mean, you could have turned Evil during that period you talked about. Maybe you could have created a babyface star at it. I don't know. This is all pointless because they're not going to think outside the box and do anything interesting or creative. But yeah, that pre-show match with the young guys and that Katsuya Murashima, the chunky boy.
Yeah. I like Nagai. Nagai's my guy, but you like the chunky boy?
No, well, he was the star of the match.
Yes, he was.
The chubby kid. So, but the thing about it with these matches,
who cares?
I always,
these guys aren't going to get pushed ever, so it's like, forget it. Yeah,
that's exactly it. I always love these matches. They're always like my third favorite match on the show, right? But I'm watching this one thinking, this is pointless. That guy's going to
fuck up all these guys. Yeah,
that guy's going to be in House of Torture. That other guy's going to be in House of Torture. This guy will be in the War Dogs. And this guy, they'll never push.
Yeah, he'll leave. He'll just leave, and we'll say, "Hey, what happened to that guy? Yeah, I remember that guy. What happened to him?" And
or they'll just never push him. He'll just, you lose faith when you see so many generations of these young lions come through, and they look so good with these great fundamentals and great fire and everything.
And easy work, too. It's just simple work. You do a move, you get it over, you wrench in the crab, the guy tries to fight it. It's just basic Pro Wrestling 101. And the crowd goes nuts. The crowd is going nuts for this pre-show match because it's just basic stuff. Basic tag team wrestling, basic pro wrestling distilled to its easiest thing. It's been done for 100 years. Everything is, you know what I mean? It's not hard. We make pro wrestling so fucking hard. Then you watch a match like this, and it's so fucking easy. It's so easy to get heat. It's so easy to get a crowd behind guys. And this match had nothing technically spectacular on it, but it was just good work, and the crowd was into it, and the guys fighting out of submissions and kicking out of pinfalls and breaking up pins and just and good momentum, and it was just classic pro wrestling. And again, like I said, my notes are just, why can't it be like this? Why can't it be like this? It's just it's but yeah, it doesn't matter because none of you do you have any hope that Daiki Nagai is going to be pushed in 5 years as a top star?
No, I think he's going to be in House of Torture with a weapon of choice. Like one guy has a wrench, another guy has a nail board, and he'll have something else. You know, one of these, at least one of these guys is going to be House of Torture for life, and their career will go nowhere. So it's like pointless at this stage getting invested in any of these kids on the ground floor. That used to be a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Right? But, Show and Yo, one's running around with a wrench, and the other's wearing Ziploc bags, and it's like, why would I get invested in any of these guys? The last group, they refused to push any of them. So what's the point of getting invested in Katsuya Murashima or Daiki Nagai when you could see, their future is just bleak?
It's just slumming it up.
It's the shit that's coming on the rest of the card.
Yeah. Speaking of the rest of this card, it gets real bad real fast here. So House of Torture defeat the Bullet Club War Dogs, introducing the newest member of the House of Torture, the former Bad Luck Fale. Don Fale is now a House of Torture member. So him, Ren Narita Sonata, and Yujiro Takahashi defeated Chase Owens, Clark Connors, Drilla Maloney, and Taiji Ishimori. But wait, there's more. Your guy, Chase, the last outlaw, or what the fuck is it? What's his? He debuted his weird country gimmick, and it.
No, he didn't. I guess
I guess you're right. He didn't. He had the video. He had the video out, but
he didn't bring it to New Japan. He put the video out.
That's right. He just put the video out. Okay,
but. Even New Japan was like,
was like, no, Chase, no.
Yeah.
What'd you say last week? You're like, too much cowboy. That's cowboy or something like that.
Yeah.
That video, the state of that video, man. What is that?
I thought it was amusing.
It's not supposed to be amusing, is it?
He's beating guys up in the bar while the Eastern Conference semifinals are on the TV in the background. Did you see that?
Yes, it's so good. He's like, hey guys, so makes a bar announcement like ding ding ding,
Yeah.
Hey guys, I'm gonna be filming something. I'm a pro wrestler, so I need to film a thing here. So if you guys don't mind, a couple guys in the bar, whatever, you know what I mean. And it's like one guy's like, can I still watch the conference finals? Yeah, sure, yeah, of course, yeah. So, gets a refill on his Sam Adams and sits down and watches the.
Halliburton's lighting up Jalen Brunson in the background.
It's so good.
It's like, yeah, I mean.
Oh, the attention to detail. Every you could break it down like the Zapruder film. Every little detail. But the TV's just on.
It wasn't. It honestly wasn't as bad as it was sold to me. It was not.
It wasn't. It's not good. I mean, it depends. Is it supposed to be a serious gimmick that we're supposed to think like, oh man, that guy looks like a badass, or are we supposed to laugh at it? Because if we're supposed to laugh at it, mission accomplished. If I'm supposed to be cowering about the outlaw Chase Owens or whatever, I don't know about that.
Yeah, well, Gato wasn't impressed, clearly. No. So it was the old crown jewel at Dominion.
Yeah, sorry, the Lone Star Outlaw. The Lone Star Outlaw. And he's also in his bag, too. Have you been seeing Chase Owens' tweets?
Yeah.
He's just like finding quotes in places. It's just like, I've been to the waterfall and I've taken a drink. And it's like, what are you talking about, dude?
Yeah.
Yeah. I once jumped into shark-infested waters. I came out unscathed.
Yeah, but a lot of them are malapropisms, like screwing up the like what was there's a couple of them that are he's like little Carmine from The Sopranos screwing up the quotes. I
may not stick around, but legend will live on. Not the legend, but legend will live on.
No, there's one that's really in
a blazing glory, his tombstone thunders.
In a blazing glory, not in a blaze of glory. In a blazing glory.
I didn't really realize that. You're right.
The Tombstone Thunders. And there's another.
That's a Garth Brooks song. Isn't that a Garth Brooks song or no? That's
a Blaze of Glory is like, he put blazing. He put like BLAZIN. Not
in a blazing glory, as in blazing is described. Yeah, blazing is the adjective of glory, and not a blaze of glory. A blazing glory, right. Yeah.
And he has one other like that too, where
he says a high noon hero there to take his number. I don't know if that's the one.
Yeah, like here to take his number, right? Wouldn't it be here to take his? There's a couple where it's just the
last thing you see before the hammer fixes all.
The syntax is off.
It's very bad.
It's
you're playing with kings. I got a dead man's hand. You're playing with kings. I got a dead man's hand.
See, they're all a little off. They're just
just a little off. Yeah.
There's just something's a little off about each one of them.
Played a guy who clearly played Red Dead Redemption over his break and said, "Yeah, fuck, that's me."
Huge fan of GTA Horse.
Right?
Huge
fan
I
gotta
of GTA
do that.
Horse.
That sounds awesome.
Yes. So,
Blazing Glory.
Blazing Glory.
I missed that one at the time.
But he didn't bring it to New Japan. It was the old crown jewel.
Well, someone's saying that in the Soul tours, which is fuck me, I'm not watching any of those.
Right.
That he's using it in the Soul tour, but I can't confirm that because why the fuck would I watch any of those?
Maybe they were waiting for the big turn to bring it.
Or they're waiting for the video. He was like, I got a big video. Wait for me to get the big video out there, and then then you can do it. But so I don't know if he's actually doing it on the Soul tours, but I don't care to find out. So sure.
Well, I was tipped off that the House of Torture logo was at the end of the video. I didn't say that on the air last week, even though I was given that information, because I didn't want to spoil the big turn.
Oh, God. Yeah. Thank God you didn't. Because I would have. Yeah. Thank you. God.
But what I didn't know was coming was Don Fale.
Who could have seen that Don Fale coming? Yes.
So they still got me, Rich. New Japan was still one step ahead of me with Don Fale.
Look, when you can bring Bad Luck Fale back in and repackage him and add him to your heel group and then have him be the key cog in one of your major matches on the show, you just got to do it. You have to do it.
And have him just look like an auto mechanic.
With the gray beard and the hat. He's just got a hat and a gray beard, yeah.
He has aged tremendously since the last time we've seen him. He put some LBs back on, and he's just wearing like a mechanic's like outfit. I don't know what's going on.
I'm not sure either.
I think he's just wearing sneakers too. Like he's just wearing he's like the guy at the oil change place who isn't the one changing the oil, but is the guy you deal with at the counter.
Who rings you up? The guy who rings you up.
He's the guy that rings you up. But he's still dressed like one of the guys that does the thing, but he's like in charge of those guys. So he doesn't get his hands greasy anymore. He doesn't have to go home with the black fingers because now he's in charge and he deals with all the soccer moms in the lobby and takes the payment and sets everything up.
He puts the piece of paper in that because they have that one thing that they bring. They never bring like a loose leaf piece of paper to the back. It's always put in that sleeve. You know what I mean? That sleeve that's got like the rubber around it.
Well, to protect it from the greasy fingers.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So he's that guy. He slides it in. He slides the piece of paper in there, goes to the bays, talks to Tim. As Tim wipes his hand, he goes, all right, comes back. Says, all right, you're ready.
Yeah.
Needs new calipers, but we could do that for you if you want. Yeah. Here's the estimate on it, as he's punching into the computer,
And then he yelled, no, the Mazda CX-9, the Mazda, right? Then... Yeah, he's got the pay.
Don. That's Don. It's Don. The name works too. That's Don. Yeah.
That's Don. That's Don Fale. He runs.
It says Don Manager. It says Don Fale Manager on his little name tag.
That's right.
Of the Firestone. He runs the Firestone of
the Firestone or the 10-minute oil change place in your neighborhood. He's the guy. Then he takes the little slip out of the protective sleeve. He always staples it. He gives you the staple.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
The staple, right? And then somehow it's always like $18 more than it was last time. And, it's somehow these. Well,
then you look at the fees, and it's like oil oil disposal fee or whatever.
Right.
And you're like, environmental protection fee. You're like, all right, whatever.
He's also the guy like he goes out there and whispers to Tim, and Tim's like pointing at something. And then he comes back with like some filter from your car, and he's like, "Hey, listen, I don't know. If I were you,
it's air filter. This isn't good.
You might want to change this one. You could stretch it to the next time if you wanted to. His voice cracks and gets high. You could whatever you wanted to, but we got these in stock right now. I don't know if you got kids. I don't know what they're breathing in. You might want to get this shit. And you just you feel pressured, and you're like, yeah, change it. Yo, yes, change it. I wouldn't want to have dirty whatever that thing is in my car. So please, yeah, let's just get that done. And then he staples those papers, and you're leaving there. You've ended up paying $178 for an oil change when you were expecting to spend like, I don't know, $50. But Don Fale will get you somehow. He gets you every time. Rich, this is why I'm done with that life. I just lease the car.
You don't want to deal with Don Fale.
I don't want to deal with Don Fale. I get my 2 free oil changes and maintenances, and then by the time I use those, it's time for the new lease. I just drive the car over there to the Mazda lot. I sit in their little lobby. I watch the Roku channel and eat the complimentary snacks. They're done in 40 minutes, and I don't have to deal with Don Fale. They still stapled the guy at the desk. He still staples that paper.
Of course. Yeah, you got it. But yeah, it's a little more button-up operation at the dealership.
And the fee is zero because I negotiated that into my lease. Right, I'm power walking out of there like Mr. McMahon because I didn't have to pay for anything. And then once those 2 free visits are up, my fucking lease is up, and I'm getting the new same exact model of car I just had the time before. And feels like I'm not even getting a new car, but that's fine. I changed the color, though. I do mix up the color. I surprised the guy last time. The guy getting the Battleship gray again. And I'm like, no, I think I'm going black.
Oh, look at that. Yeah.
He couldn't believe it. He's like, oh. I said, I think I'm going black. We're going to mix it up.
Threw him a curveball.
Because I'm going to confuse the kids when I pick them up from
Threw him
school
a
today.
sweeper. Threw him one of those sweepers that are all the rage
Sure
these
did.
days. Yeah.
Kids were all amazed when I picked them up. They weren't sure. They're like staring into the windshield like, is it that him? Is that not him? Oh, we got a new color. Got to mix it up. Yeah, but that Don Fale, that's what
Don
he is.
Fale. Yeah, Jordan has a great point. Jordan Smith in our chat room, who's always good. Great commenter, great no-dope participant, says, it has Don sewn in cursive on his work shirt,
Yes.
which is great.
Yeah, it's
Such a good,
Yeah.
it's like it's the old Firestone logo. He's had that thing since 1992. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's
Yeah, it is. It's the in script. Yeah, the cursive.
the script says Don.
Don.
Yeah. Good handshake, though. Don gives you a hell of a handshake when you leave. He staples it. He hands you that thing. Goes, pleasure. Yeah, always a pleasure. And you give Don a nice little handshake.
Yeah.
And,
He's got those calloused fingers. Because he's done hard work.
right. He did hard. He doesn't do it anymore, but he did.
Right.
He did hard.
He
work.
did. He earned his way to that counter. He runs that operation now. Okay, but he's still got those calloused hands. And you know what he's thinking when he shakes our hands out? These pussies with their soft hands.
Look how soft his fucking hand is. Look at this
never
guy's
done
skin.
shit.
This guy's baby ass skin. Fuck this guy. Yeah.
This guy must be a wrestling podcaster or something because his hands are softer than bread. His fucking soft ass hands. Yeah, that's what he's thinking.
That's Don Fale.
Yep.
Fucking bad luck, Fale. God. Any thoughts on this shitty match? No. How
Junk.
could you? How
So
could
bad.
you? TMDK, the always exciting TMDK, Zack Sabre Jr., Rohei Oiwa, and then Hartley Jackson, who I swear to God, every time I see him, I forget he's there. Every single time. I'm like, fuck, that's Hartley Jackson. What's he doing here? And I'm like, right. He's been here for like a year now. You know what I mean? Like, how do you don't remember Hartley Jackson, do you? I was like, good for him getting a booking. I'm like, wait, he's always there. What the fuck? Yeah, what do I do?
Someone in the chat said Caveman Ugg and Jack Bonza are the ones actually working on the car.
Say, hey, Jack. Hey, Jack. Yeah?
Jack Bonza.
Ding. Yeah, someone comes into the bays. Yeah. Hey, Jack. You looking at that? What's the deal with the? What's the deal with the Passat? Are you working on the Passat? Yeah, no, Passat's done. All right. We did brake pads. Front and backs. Yeah.
Michael Richards working on your.
Michael Richards. I forgot about. You know, the other thing too is when you can reward Bad Luck Fale for the pipeline that is the Australian. I mean, you just got it. I mean, because clearly, what a wild machine. I mean, those shows are attended by maybe 6 people. There was that one show that literally had nobody at it. Remember that show that had like literally 3 people at it, maybe.
All the tight camera shots.
Yeah.
There were no fans.
And nobody, who's coming out of that's like getting any sort of, what are the fruits of all that work? Like, who the fuck's coming from?
Yeah, what is the Fale Dojo produced in the
Where's
last
the
decade?
Oceania talent explosion that we're waiting for here?
Which we were all waiting for. Like, we were at one point really waiting for it. And, you know, we got Michael Richards on a tag league tour, and we're like,
I can't ever get past him being Michael Richards. It's
we're like,
just
all right, let's give it a shot. And then he was like a big old nothing, and then, you know, and then it's just there's nothing coming out of that pipeline.
nothing.
What
I look
kind of
at those
rackets that
cards
guy
and I'm
running?
just like, who's that dude? Like, I don't even know the fucking guy is. Whatever. All right, fine. It's just, you know.
And it's just the gray beard, no effort anymore. Does he still date Peter that used to accompany Taichi to the ring?
Did he
Remember
ever date Peter? Was he ever a Peter?
Yeah, they were an item.
Really? Good for Don Fale. I didn't know that.
He was with Peter.
Oh,
They
muffin
were a
ass?
couple.
Wasn't her Instagram muffin ass or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like muffin tits or muffin ass or something. I think it was ass. I think she was.
Wait, no. Peter wasn't with. She was the one with Yujiro. Huge. With the ear.
Right.
She was the one with the the shy one that was with Taichi.
Oh,
That's not the
that's
one.
right.
That was,
Yeah.
Like the Taichi, I forget her name. That had a weird Macho Man Elizabeth vibe to it that no one ever really talked about.
Who was Taichi's babe? Yeah, I forget her name.
Yeah. So Fale was with Peter, who came down when Yujiro was still a pimp. And he was like the hoe. She was the hoe. He was the pimp and she was the hoe.
Yeah.
And
I
that
can't confirm her Instagram is at muffin030ass is Peter.
Okay.
Peter.
Listen, 03. Yeah, Peter with a TR, like no vowel in there.
Yeah. Still muffin. Still good for Peter. Feet are still looking good.
And good for Fale if he's still dating her, I guess. I don't know what their situation is, but
who was Taichi's woman? Oh, Miho Abe. Miho Abe. Yeah.
Miho Abe. Yeah. Miho Abe.
I don't know what Miho Abe is doing, but I don't care, to be honest, but Miho Abe, that's right.
And then she just disappeared too, right?
Yeah.
Didn't they do an angle to write her off? It's some kind of angle.
I don't even remember. Yeah. Where's Muffin Ass? Yeah. She's kind of went away too. Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. Yujiro had like the saxophone music and he was like a full on pimp, the Tokyo Pimps.
The Tokyo Pimp.
That shit-eating grin on his face all the time.
This used to be like the low undercard bullshit that was just like, whatever. Right. You know what I mean? Like now these men are all part of the largest stable in this company.
Right. They're the movers and shakers. That's what I was saying. Like if it was just prelim shit, you could live with it. Oh, look, they're doing a fun angle with the last Desperado fucking Chase Owens or whatever the fuck. No.
Lone Star Outlaw.
Yeah. He's coming out during the Blazing Glory. They're doing a fun angle with Blazing Glory, Chase Owens. But no, they're coming out during the dog collar match and in the middle of the fucking business end of the show. 9 guys at one point pulling on the dog chain. How do you fuck up a dog collar match?
They found a way, man. The way to do it is have a guy not wear the dog collar for half the match. It was unbelievable how much that match sucked.
This is what I warned about last week. Sometimes when Japan gets a hold of these gimmicks, they don't know what the fuck to do with them. Battle royals, cage matches. Now we see with dog collar matches, something gets lost across the sea and it just gets fucked up. It's impossible to fuck up a dog collar match. All you have to do is beat each other with the chain. That's all you have to do, Rich.
2 men enter the ring, they're chained together, and you beat the fuck out of each other.
We all know the spots. You can crotch the guy with the chain. You work the crotching the guy with the chain in there. You yank the one guy, the heel tries to get away, but you do a couple spots to establish that you yank him back. You beat him with the chain. Like, how do you fuck it up?
Hang him over the top rope. Reaching for his neck while he's getting hung while you're pulling on it.
They did that with Gato to set the mat to the big angle to set it up. They got it right. They hung Gato, remember?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how do you fuck it up? I'm fairly certain me and you could get in there and have a dog collar match, and it could be a 2.5 stars.
Well,
would you run the razor, Craig?
Oh, in a dog collar match, of course. Yeah, you got to run that razor. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you got to run the razor.
It's a fucking dog collar match. You got to put some effort into it. But yeah, the way that they did a dog collar match was one man just takes the dog collar off, and then 55 people run in, and they just beat each other up with weapons. Not the way I would do it. And then Don Fale puts David Finlay through a table, and then Evil puts the dog collar back on and then wins the match. So.
Don Fale. Don Fale. Oh God!
You just gotta bring back Bad Luck Fale. You just have to. You just have to do it.
Well, maybe they're just bringing him back to lose in those G1 qualifiers.
No, okay, I understand, but why then would you repackage him, add him to a unit, and make him a key part of the biggest angle, a major angle?
That's what makes me think they're both going to advance.
I'm terrified of that. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm terrified of that. I don't know why you would put Don Fale in a G1. There's no reason to put Don Fale in a G1, but there's too much going on with him that makes me worry that, because if you wanted to have Bad Luck Fale come and you wanted Rohei Oiwa to beat a big guy, you just call in Bad Luck Fale. He shows up. He does his normal shit. I guess the problem is that there's no OG Bullet Club anymore, so we had to pick a Bullet Club to be a part of, I suppose.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why, but I just got really worried with how important he was in that Evil Finlay match. So that's I'm just nervous. Now they need to not they probably shouldn't, and they probably won't. I just can't rule it out. I can't put it at 0% that Fale advances and goes to the G1.
I can't either.
You just can't put they do not deserve the benefit of the doubt there. But anyway, TMDK and fucking El Phantasmo Shota Umino, who cares, right? You know, I called it exactly. Zack Sabre Jr. wins the match, gets the pin, and then challenges Hiroki Goto for the title. I called that last week too. So,
but he didn't, did he?
Sorta, yeah. I mean, he's getting a match in one of the Soul shows or whatever.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't X out of that show fast enough. So
He didn't. No. He did not come out. I don't think he came out after the match to challenge it. But they are doing a Hiroki Goto, Zack Sabre Jr. match at one of the
soul sucking shows.
Tanahashi Jam on June 29th. Tanahashi Jam.
Yeah,
on June
Tanahashi
20th.
Jam. I picture him doing like air guitar. Tanahashi Jam.
Right, Tanahashi Jam.
Right.
Yep.
With his weird bow legs now, doing the air guitar. All right. So Zack Sabre Jr. versus Goto. Maybe Zack will win it back.
I'm trying to decide if I hate that or not. Whatever. Yeah.
What does it matter? Who cares?
Yeah, who fucking cares? Hiroshi Tanahashi and his bow legs versus Yuya Uemura. And Tanahashi getting the win. He rolls him up, catches him out of nowhere, and gets the 1-2-3. So
there was one spot in this match where he did like the what's the gimmick where you jump off the ropes and land on your back on the guy? What do you call that?
senton, like a senton.
Did a senton to Uemura, and he was like a turtle on its back trying to get up. He couldn't get up off the mat. He was like me trying to get up off the couch after a 12-inning Reds game. Like just I got to get the momentum going first.
Yeah,
I got to rock back.
You got to make the noise too. You got to make the noise.
Yeah.
To get up. Yeah.
Rock back, rock forward, get momentum to try to get it. If there's a kid around, come here, help me up. Help me off the couch. You know, that move, you know, but you got to rock back and forth because I've sunk into the couch at that point. You know, because I've been sitting there for 3.5 hours. That was Tanahashi trying to get up after the senton. He couldn't get up. He was like trying to use the rocking momentum. He's trying to pull up his tights because his tights always fall down now.
Yeah, can we get a new pair of pants for Hiroshi Tanahashi? I see a lot of his butt, and I don't want to see any of Hiroshi Tanahashi's butt. This is why
so much crap.
I hate watching old. Like everybody loves this shit of I get to see an old wrestler in his final days. I don't want to see Hiroshi Tanahashi spend an entire match on his back because he can't stand up and pulling his pants up so his ass crack doesn't show. Like, why do I want to watch one of the greatest wrestlers of all time spend half a match trying to pull his pants up?
I don't know.
People love this shit, though. I don't understand.
People love it.
Yeah.
They love watching these guys at the end. I don't know.
Yeah. I will say, you after my own heart, he did the thing that I always love, the classic Antonio Inoki thing where you get pinned, but you don't believe it, so you get up and you start pinning the guy again. And, you know, like, Tanahashi gets the win, and Yui's like, no, there's no way, it's impossible. So he goes to the pinfall, and he's like looking at the ref, like, got him, I got him. And it's like, no, the match is over. Like, Inoki did that. Anytime Inoki had to take the 1-2-3, which is very rarely, he would do that. He'd jump up and go for the pinfall himself, be like, no, there's no way. So I appreciate that.
It's like like an MMA fighter who gets knocked out but doesn't realize he got knocked out because he woke up when his head hit the mat, and then he like dives in and tries to shoot on the guy, and the referee has to step in. No, you already lost, dude. You got knocked out already. Yeah, you don't see enough of that. But at the same time, you know, we say that, then they would overdo it.
Yeah, right.
So, you know, because he got caught like in a pinning combination. He got caught. I got to go back too, because when Zack beat Umino totally fucked up that finishing sequence. Did you notice that?
Correct.
When
of course
Zack
he did,
was
because
doing
he fucking sucks. He sucks.
Zack was doing his wacky Euro clutches and these pinning things, and Umino was like a quarter step behind him every time, and the timing was all fucked up, and even Sonata, who is the most uncoordinated doofus on the roster, he has no problems with those spots with Zack Sabre Jr. And Umino just was a quarter step behind this guy.
Sucks. Garbage. Yeah. Trash wrestler. All right. Now I can't believe this is the point. It got worse after this. I can't believe this is the point where you almost threw in the towel. House of Torture, Dookie and Show. Yes. So the big reveal here was it was supposed to be Yoshinobu Kanemaru, but he comes up in an arm sling and says, I can't wrestle. My arm's hurt or whatever. So they say, oh, that's okay. We have a replacement that's going to face Master Wato and Yo. And it's Dookie, who came back from his injury at Wrestle Kingdom, a tragic injury in the middle of the junior heavyweight title match, right at the beginning, right? They only got a couple minutes in, I think, or a minute in or whatever, and had a horrible injury. Match had to get called off. And everybody believed that when they were going to bring Dookie back, it was going to be this big time babyface thing. He's finally back. He overcame the injury, and now he's going to go and work his way back up to get to the junior heavyweight title again. Maybe he's going to face El Desperado at next year's Wrestle Kingdom and do that exact same spot and get up and say, I'm okay, I'm fine. As the crowd goes, yeah, they all root for Dookie. No, he's just in House of Torture. And Master Wato and Yo have to pretend to be like stunned and surprised, and oh my god, it's Dookie, and they somehow agree to this match with a replacement wrestler, and then Dookie and Sho win the tag team titles because who cares?
Now we're throwing wrestlers in there that the fans like, and that they, he had that nice run last year. Remember before he got hurt, where he had gotten over organically with the New Japan fans as a babyface, and then they bring him back in the fucking House of Torture. It's like,
it's a surefire. It's one of the easiest stories to do. Is a guy gets injured in a big time spot. It's a tragedy. They were already into him. Like there's no reason whatsoever to not go with him as a babyface, especially with a company that's struggling. I can't believe we're saying Dookie is like the, but yes, that was one of their top babyfaces at the end of last year, just because he got organically over, and they just decide we're devoid of all ideas or concepts or anything. So fuck it, he's just in the House of Torture now. So
yeah,
and the crowd was deflated too. This was not booing like, oh, we can't. This is like, really, Dookie? Like, this is what you're doing? Fuck you. It kind of had that reaction to it. Yeah, it did not feel like good heat coming out of that audience.
Well, what's the storyline justification for it?
Yeah, I'd love to hear it. I don't know.
I don't think there is. They didn't explain it.
Probably
I think my wife just laughed at me when I said that. She's down in the kitchen getting a drink, and I said, "What's the storyline justification?"
Yeah,
for
she's
it?
like, "What happened to my man?"
And she's cackling in there like, "Oh, this dork." Storyline, she can only imagine what that's in reference to.
Earlier in the show,
and
like,
it's worse than she could ever imagine.
That dork shit, House of fucking Dragon and Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
What's that? You're like, I need to know what the storyline justification for this Dookie turn to House of Torture is. Like, I want answers. What's the in canon? What's the canon of this story?
Right. And she nodded in approval at my assessment of that as she walked up the stairs. Yeah. So she did, in fact, she was in fact laughing at me, saying, "What is the storyline justification for that?" Hey, no kids this weekend.
Uh-oh.
No kids this weekend. There's going to be some chapping after this show. Let me tell you, sir.
Yeah.
There is.
Katsura Shibata in the house. Let's go. Yeah.
And it could be loud again because there's no kids in the house. None of the muffled noises like the usual song and dance. So I'm getting ready for that. What match should we leave off on?
Will she be asleep by the time you end this show, or is she ready to go?
This is probably sharing too much, but as she always tells me, you can wake me up for that.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's not how it goes around here.
Always
good for you. When one party's asleep, they're asleep. Let me tell you that. I can't even walk into the room to turn on the TV, let alone.
No, she's like, you can always wake me up.
Wow.
I got my move too, though. I got my move too. I'll slip into the bed at my usual 4:30 or whatever, And I got my little move I do around the buttocks without getting too graphic, And then she has her little move that she does that tells me, yes, I am receptive to this. Like she does the little grind, like with the buttocks after I do my little move on the. See, my move is I'll feel around because I'm usually looking for a thong. I enjoy the thong underwear, Rich Cage.
So poor woman. I hope she's really far away at this point as you're describing all of this.
So I'm usually looking around for that. And if I find it, I usually make some gluttural sound like, oh, yeah, right, And then yeah, exactly. I can't control it. And then I get like the little response, and then I know it's on, it's on at that point. And then, I don't need to tell you what happens next.
Yeah. One thing leads to another, and Katsura Shibata in the house, but it pleased me quite well, or whatever the Seth Rollins horrible tweet.
Yes, I know you can please me quite well.
I know you can please me quite.
Which we still text to each other. Yeah. Not me and you. Not me and Rich.
No, you and I have never texted that to each other. No.
Before anyone cuts that, because TLB's familiar with that line, And whenever he's on, I'm like, hey, that's the guy.
That's the guy, the horrible sexter. That's him.
Yeah, the bad sexter. That's him. I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. So.
And he's like repulsively unsexy too. The nurse does that too. She's like, "Oh my god, look at him!" It's just like she's never like she gets Roman Reigns. Like I don't think that's her type. But all the dragon fucking books, all the guys look like Roman Reigns apparently.
Yeah.
Because she saw Roman Reigns and goes like, "Yeah, that's what all the shadow daddies. They all look like that." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, all right." So I get it. So they're called shadow daddies. Yes, that is true. But then I'm like, oh, they look like Roman Reigns, and like, and she's like, no, no, God, no, and I'm like, no, that's Roman Reigns. She goes, oh, I thought Seth Rollins is Roman Reigns. I go, no. She goes, oh, nobody looks like that. Like it's repulsively unsexy Seth Rollins, like his greasy hair and his terrible voice, and
Well, texting it's bad enough. Imagine. I know you can please me quite well with his Muppet voice.
Right,
like he's saying that to Becky Lynch. He has said that to her out loud.
Yeah, I know.
I know you can please me quite well with his Muppet voice.
Right.
And she's like aroused by that.
Yeah, that's the stunning part. But
you don't think about that.
There's someone out there for everybody. You know what I mean?
Apparently.
Good for him. What else? As Soup points out, like we do the fake injury thing with Kanemaru. He just interferes. The sling's off. He just interferes. It's like boo, boo. Oh God damn it. Oh God damn it. Oh God damn it. I'm like, what is happening? Like kayfabe, and I think, and I know this is going to be well, what about the Irish Whip or whatever? In kayfabe, why is House of Torture allowed to do what they do in New Japan and nobody stops them? The company never stops them. The company never does anything about it. They're just in the G1. Kanemaru was able to fake an injury and have a replacement, then come in and interfere. And it's just none of it matters. Just whatever. Next thing moves on.
The referee's decision is final in pro wrestling. Rich Rach, you know that.
Mm-hmm. Anyway. Then we had Taichi and Tomohiro Ishii defeat Cal Newman and Great Okan. Like you said, the state of putting the titles on Taichi and Ishii is worrisome in a lot of ways, but there you go. Big Tom Ish. I thought he was going to take the summer off like he always does, but yeah.
Maybe this is New Japan's polite way of telling Tony Khan, no, you can't have him.
Right, you can't have it. Or tell him, no, you cannot go to America this summer like he always, yeah.
Maybe Tom Ish went to management and said, hey, listen, you got to belt me up because this guy keeps asking me to come back. I work 7-minute matches on Collision. It's a long flight. I'm 50 years old. So if you belt me up, I have a plausible reason to say, Tone, damn it. Yeah. I would love to come to Des Moines this week.
I was going to say, I'd love to go to Palm Springs for the Collision taping, but
right,
shoot.
Right.
Shoot. I'm the IWGP Tag Team Champion. Oh, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, crap.
Yeah. And he probably went to Gato and was like, listen, the New Japan Strong title wasn't enough. He wasn't buying that one. But if you put the tag team titles on me, I have to work the Soul Tour. Can't go to Des Moines. I think that's the angle here.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, anyway. Then we had Oleg Boltin and Konosuke Takeshita. Thank God, just a normal wrestling match on this show. I can't believe it. It took...
Tag title match was fine.
The tag title was fine. That's true. But this is like a normal 2-men wrestling. One man leaves as the champion. No bullshit. No interference. Nothing. Just a good classic wrestling match. Now, I went in with really high expectations. I don't know if those high expectations were really met, but I like Oleg. I think there's a lot there. I don't know how much they're going to see in him, but... Yeah, he'd be a guy that I'd push. If you gave me the book and gave me the pencil, he's a guy that I'm definitely going to do something with. And I thought this was an important moment to him to win the Never Openweight title over Takeshita. Gives Takeshita, one less thing to do in New Japan Pro Wrestling, and especially ahead of the G1 where he's going to be, have to take probably a couple of pinfall losses. I doubt he's going to win the whole thing or go undefeated or whatever. So it makes sense to get the title off him before that. But I don't know. I was pleasantly, I like this match. I won't say pleasantly surprised because I went in with high expectations, but I guess I was pleasantly surprised it was no bullshit and it was just 2 men wrestling and 1 man leave, which is a rarity in New Japan Pro Wrestling in 2025. So I don't know. I liked it.
Yeah, it's good, Matt. The show got better as it moved along. It was just a frustrating show.
Yeah.
So, to give Boltin the win or Oleg, whatever his last name is, it's a positive. It's a sliver of positive and a sea of negative that's going on in the company right now. But, we'll see. I don't get the sense that he's someone that they have major plans for, but we'll see.
Then we went to the dog collar death match. 23 minutes and 4 seconds, Evil versus Finlay, and this was fucking awful. This was one of my least favorite matches I've seen in a very long time. I mean, I went in with your thought. How do you fuck up a dog collar match? There's no way. I immediately saw when Chris Charlton and Walker Stewart were saying, "Oh, all the War Dogs, all of House of Torture are going to stay ringside." So it's in a way, it's kind of a de facto lumberjack match. And I was like, "Oh, this is going to be awful already." I already know. The fact that it's not mano a mano, 1-versus-1, link the chain up. You can't run anywhere. I'm finally going to get my hands on you. Like that is what the dog collar is supposed to be, right? Like that is the concept. No, it is. We're just going to brawl like we would have a normal ass wrestling. Like they did everything they would normally do. If there was no dog collar involved, everything they would normally do, fight outside the ring, people interfere, weapons, pipes, chairs, garrote wires. Evil takes the fucking dog collar off multiple times. It's just literally wrestling without it. And I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here? What is this? Like what? Just an absolute disgrace to the dog collar. We're kicking around the idea of doing a deep dive on dog collars. Hopefully we'll have that coming pretty soon as we're kind of figuring which matches to go in that deep dive. Joe, I don't know if this one's going to make the cut. I think I'm going to make an executive decision that Evil versus David Finlay should not be a part of that deep dive.
I'm not watching this again. Are you out of your fucking mind?
Hell no. Never.
You're going to make me watch this again?
I would never. Because then I would have to watch it again. And I don't want to do that ever again. Unless we want to show the nadir of the concept. You know what I mean? It's like, here's 10 ways that it was done perfectly, and here's one way that it was done absolutely awful. How do you fuck up a dog collar match? They found a way to do it. It's you add House of Torture. Yeah, you put House of Torture in, and no matter what, they're going to find a way to fuck it up. And this was this is an awful match, just terrible. And the key spot was Don Fale coming off the top rope to put David Finlay through a table. Was the key spot in the match that led to Evil getting the win. Like,
with
what
are
we doing?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I mean, we're out of people to push, so we're pushing Bad Luck Fale.
Don.
Maybe they'll maybe Manabu Nakanishi will be next. Who knows? Maybe. What's Tiger Mask up to?
Yeah,
Tiger Mask
let me see grumpy ass Tiger Mask out there. Yeah,
right.
That'd be great. Manabu Nakanishi. Fucking Tomoaki Hanma can take he could do the Segura and swivel the hips and turn on.
He just
Hantai.
got named. They just named him for a match.
That's what I'm saying. He can come back, swivel those hips, join the House of Torture. It's like, no, god damn it, no, not Hanma.
I don't think Captain fucking New Japan ever got a proper send off. Let's bring him back.
Isn't he in jail, or is he good?
What did he do?
I think he got a little too gambly, right?
Captain New Japan?
Yeah, I think he had a problem with the gamble.
Really?
I think that's the case, yeah.
Let him out.
I agree.
Victimless crime.
Right, a little it's legal everywhere now. Come on.
Is that a real thing? I never heard about that.
Don't quote me, but I'm pretty sure that's a real thing that he had a little trouble. A little too gambly, but I don't know.
What about Super Strong Machine? Where's he been?
Yeah,
or is he still bitter because they didn't want his son?
Probably, yeah. He's got to be, God, that guy's got to be in his 70s now, right? Super Strong Machine. Why not? You know what? Why not? Could be worse. Could he be worse than if Super Strong Machine was in the exact same spot that Don Fale was in? Better or worse?
Do we have an age on this man?
Scroll 68 years old. That's tough.
I mean, Fale moves around like a 68-year-old.
Yeah.
To be fair.
I mean, Super Strong was real bad at the end, but I'd kick the tires on Super Strong Machine before I'd kick the tires. I'd kick the tires. Manabu Nakanishi moved around much better than Don Fale, even at the end.
Well, the thing about it is, at some point, Jake Lee's going to be back, and our tune is going to change on this company. Let me tell you.
God. We just need our hero, checks notes, Jake Lee, to come back and get things on track here. Good Lord.
Yes.
God.
They gave Super Strong Machine a retirement show. I don't remember.
I don't remember this either. Yeah, I'm on his Wikipedia, and I saw that too, and I was like, huh. There you go.
2018, which wasn't that long ago.
Yeah, I don't remember any of that.
Me neither. Huh.
You know what? No, I do, because they all came out in Super Strong Machine get-ups, and it was actually kind of fun. There was like Super Strong Justice, and that was Yuji, and Super Strong 69 or whatever, which is too good. I remember that. I actually do remember that match now. I don't remember the rest of the card, but I remember that send-off match where they all wore Super Strong Machine. or Strong Machine masks.
Yeah, I don't remember it at all. Whatever.
Probably not going to go back and watch it anytime soon. So, all right. Final two matches were fine. Gabe Kidd defeated Yota Tsuji to win the IWGP Global Heavyweight title. What do you make of there's a lot of people that have decided that because he was in AEW that now New Japan fans hate him. I didn't get that sense. I just thought these fans were kind of bored because the rest of the show had been horrible. And then when he actually won, I thought they got pretty over and they got kind of behind him. I just think that the show was just a drag on the fans.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a deep in the weeds fan thing with the dyed in the wool hardcore New Japan fan that's resentful of AEW because they took all their top stars. I don't know or have a feel if that's the, regular ticket buying New Japan fan that feels that way. But what I do have to say about that is I don't understand it. The story he did in AEW is he was very clearly just a paid mercenary of Jon Moxley. He wasn't any kind of AEW representative or part of the roster even.
The contrary. He was a hired gun from the guy who wants to kill AEW, right? And build it in his...
I don't understand why any New Japan fan would be put off by that. I don't from a kayfabe standpoint. I mean, if they think
just the idea that that's like his first step to joining AEW or whatever.
Right. But the sense I got was, well, it runs against his New Japan storyline of being Mr. New Japan, all proud of the lion mark, and then he's an AEW guy. No, because in kayfabe, he's not an AEW guy. He's a hired gun. So I don't think it ran counter to the story. See, I'm seeing people say that it runs counter to the story he's doing in New Japan concurrently. I disagree. Because I don't think his AEW persona has any loyalty to AEW whatsoever. He doesn't care about AEW. He's paid to do a job. And he did the job and now he's not there anymore. Now, if it's from the standpoint of, they think he's just, shaking some valuable hands over there and whispering when his contract is up, okay, because we've been down this road before. But, I mean, listen, what are you going to do? If Tony Khan wants somebody, he's going to get him. Well, there's no point hand-wringing it all the time. Like, if he wants somebody and they're open to it, he's going to get them. That's the lay of the land right now. And if it's not Tony, the other guys are going to get him. And that's part of the reason New Japan's in this position. But I don't completely let them off the hook. Because as we talked about an hour ago, they should have prepared for this. I don't even know if I answered your question. But I don't know. I thought the win got over well enough.
Exactly. Yeah, I thought, because his entrance, there wasn't a whole lot of buzz, but I think a lot of people were just getting over the dog collar match that I thought was deplorable and I don't think anybody really liked. And it was a show of a lot of gut punches up and down the show. But yeah, once he finally got the win and cut the promo afterwards, I thought the fans were all on board with him. So yeah, I saw a lot of that talk of like, oh, see, they damaged him. He's done. Nobody cares about him in New Japan anymore. And I didn't get that vibe whatsoever once the match was over. Maybe at the beginning I was like, oh, maybe people are right. But then I realized, no. As the match went on, it was just they were trying to, get back from what had been a pretty horrific show to that point. But yeah, this was okay.
It's physical.
It was physical. My Tsuji complaints are still there that the guy is all charisma outside of the ring, but once he gets in the ring, there's very little of it, and that's going to be a struggle. That's going to be a struggle, and it's the opposite with Gabe Kidd. Obviously, he's a guy who just when he's in that ring, he makes you as a fan. As if you're in that arena, if you're watching, you have to be a part of the match. Like he brings you in to every single thing he does. So I think he's got that aspect of it down where Tsuji just doesn't. Tsuji's just kind of out there doing his stuff. He feels like a guy who just goes through the process, does his spots, does his wrestling, but it doesn't feel like a guy who's really making a crowd connection once he gets in the ring. Now, when he's out of the ring with that smile and the look, yes, there's a lot there. But yeah, I want to see a little bit more from him once that bell rings and he's in that ring. I just don't see a whole lot of in-ring charisma for him. So that I think is going to be a limiting factor for him. But he's got to go into this G1 now, without this title. He has to go in this G1 as maybe not a favorite, but a contender to win it too. Because another guy that, you get that title off of him to maybe launch him into a higher stratosphere. I would hope that's the idea, but who knows? Who knows? Can't give him the benefit of the doubt on any of that. And then we'll go to the main event here. Hiroki Goto and Shingo Takagi, which I thought was good, but not great. I don't know. I went in with super high expectations about Goto and Shingo. Like you kind of said, the crowd wasn't super into it all. They weren't like that Goto. There was that fan, just these fucking fans love this guy for months. It was just like, yes, he finally did it. Now he's our guy. And it's like, it's already waning a little bit. And maybe that's the show being bad. Like I said with Gabe Kidd, maybe it's just simply that the show was dragging on people. So it didn't, but at no point in this match did it really feel like the crowd got super, super invested and super, big into Goto winning. Shingo, I don't think anybody believed that Shingo could actually win this. And I thought this was a good match, but in my mind, I had a Shingo Goto main event of Dominion being like a phenomenal match. And I don't think it reached those highs.
I thought it was a really good match. I enjoyed it. And that was with kind of fighting the I don't care about this match thing. I can't believe when Charlton said he's had 7 defenses, no, I got to look that up. That can't be true. I can't believe he's had 7 defenses already. That's crazy to me, but they're all right there. Tanahashi, Nagata, David Finlay, Umino in Chicago. Those American ones always sneak up on you. Callum Newman, of course, in place of Cobb. Zack Sabre Jr. in the U.S. and Shingo. So you have the 2 U.S. ones, and I think that's probably what's fucking with my head.
Yeah.
But and the Sabre match didn't even have and I guess that's why Sabre's the next challenger, right? Because they did the double pin. So there's your light bulb booking. Now we understand why that match was a draw, right? Because Sabre was going to be next. Not quite the same kind of light bulb booking that we're used to. More of okay, that's why they did that.
yeah.
Rather than, wow, that was brilliant.
Yeah,
right?
just kind of like, all right, yeah, whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, I totally whiffed on that. I didn't know they were doing Goto Sabre, so that's news to me. I guess they're going to do that at the end of this tour as the whatever big building they're running. What is the big building they're running for this tour? Let me see if I can find that.
New Japan Seoul? Yeah, I don't...
Yeah. The final night is in Cork and Hall. Night 8 is in Budokan. They're running Budokan. They've got the 2 G1 play-ins, Gabe Kidd versus Hiroshi Tanahashi, but I don't see Goto Sabre listed, so I don't know if they're doing that on...
No, that's on Tanahashi Jam. That's the one before. That's at the Aichi
doing that in Nagoya
Gymnasium at the Dolphins Arena, the classic Dolphins Arena.
Oh, they're doing that in Nagoya.
Yeah.
Okay. With Bolton, Nagata underneath. Okay. What the... Leona? Fujinami's working.
Oh, hell yeah. All right.
So Leona
gets a booking. Hey, can Leona come? Sure. Why not? Can Leona come?
That dork.
They'll love him. They'll probably sign him. They'll probably say, hey, we could do something with Leona for sure.
All right. There's a lot going on this tour. I mean, that's a big show.
I don't sleep on New Japan Seoul.
Then they got a couple Korakuens. And then they have New Japan Death Pain Invitational.
Yes.
What the fuck is
that's Despi and Jun Kasai.
Who cares? Yeah, okay. I forgot about that. Couldn't care less. That's like it's like when that caller called Francesa and said that Stan Lee died, and Mike was like, "Who?" He's like, "Mike, Stan Lee." He's like, "I don't know who that is. Who's Stan Lee?" And the guy's like, Marvel Comics, Spider-Man. And Mike's reaction was, who cares?
I don't read comics.
Great eulogy to the
right. Rest in peace, Stan Lee. One of the most...
He goes, who cares? And he hand waved the caller. Who cares? Hand waved to the producer.
The creator of, hundreds of IPs and, whatever. Yeah.
Caller's like, oh my God, Mike. Oh my God. Who cares?
Stan Lee.
Who cares? Marvel Comics.
Who's that?
Who is that? I don't know who that is. Who is it?
Because he's thinking like, what was he on the San Francisco Giants? Was he a San Francisco Giant in the 60s or whatever? Yeah. Like, who's that? Did he play with Mays? Was he Mays, the second baseman on all those great Mays teams? That wasn't him. No, who's Stan Lee? I don't know. Yeah. Some ABA player, and he played for the fucking...
Right. So he wasn't even in that mode. Like, he's trying to think of an athlete, like some old boxer he forgot or something. He's like, Stan Lee? Who's that? Who's Stan Lee? Yeah. I think that's on YouTube. It's a great clip. Just a God.
That's New Japan Pro Wrestling. G1 Climax field. Joe, clap, get into it. Runs from July 19th to August 17th. Your A block. G1 Climax 35 A block. David Finlay, Evil, Hiroki Goto, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Oleg Boltin, Sonata, Yota Tsuji, and Yuya Uemura. Now, there are 2 TBDs in the A block. We're going to decide that on June 23rd, because if Callum Newman or Taichi wins, they will move on to the A block. Now, I think it's a pretty mortal lock that Callum Newman's going to win that and go in, but I don't know if you have different thoughts about that, but that's the guy I think is probably finding his way into that A block. Also, with a chance to join the A block on July 4th, Don Fale versus Rohei Oiwa. Don Fale or Rohei Oiwa can also make it to the A block, punching their ticket on July 4th. But any quick thoughts you have on that A block? It's pretty dire, I'd say. I don't love that block at all.
I mean, it's a very unexciting G1 field overall, but I don't know what people were expecting because this is the roster.
Right, this is it.
This is the roster. This is who they are. So what were people expecting?
They are who we thought they were.
Exciting, like maybe some AEW names, but I mean,
yeah, no outsiders, which I think is notable because this is it. Like you said, there's no outsiders. There's nobody coming from Noah. There's nobody coming from All Japan. This is it. This is the core New Japan Pro Wrestling roster. So look at it. Yeah, I mean, like if it makes you bored and eye roll and you're like, what the fuck happened to my New Japan? This is it. This is what we're looking at here.
Yeah,
you're right to be disappointed.
I don't think they want to pay outsiders right now. Is what it comes down to. So, I mean, the clock's ticking on like Claudio being in one of these, right?
Right. Oh yeah. Claudio was always the one that.
Wait, wasn't he in one? No, he was. He was not in one. But I think that's, obviously, Bryan Danielson's not going to do one now, but. No. I mean, outside of him, isn't Claudio the one that people have kind of wanted to do a G1? And, he's in his mid-40s, and I just don't know that that New Japan is in a position to be paying guys, outsiders, to come do these things right now.
And it takes you away for AEW television for a while, too, so.
Yeah.
There's also that. So, yeah, I don't this is the roster. I don't know what to tell anybody. It's like when you don't add outsiders, you don't add anybody from AEW, you bring nobody in from Noah or Dragon Gate or All Japan or what. This is the roster. So it's like, yeah, you should. It's like fucking look at it. Yeah, this is it. This is the state of New Japan right now in 2025, and that's why
why the G1 looks soft.
Yeah, that's why it looks the way it looks because this is it. This is it. B block a little bit better. El Phantasmo, who also just recently got hurt, so he's off this weekend shows, but hopefully it's just a.
Hanma replaced him.
Yeah, so hopefully it's a quick little thing for Phantasmo, and he's good by G1. Then you have Gabe Kidd, Great Okan, Konosuke Takeshita, Ren Narita, Shingo Takagi, Shota Umino, and Zack Sabre Jr. So that block's a little bit better with the exception of Ren Narita, of course, and then Shota Umino, who will just shit the bed a bunch of different times. But 2 more men can get themselves into the B block here. Tomohiro Ishii and Drilla Maloney, June 23rd. Whoever wins that will go on. I don't think it's going to be Ishii. It's probably Drilla. And then Yoshihashi versus Chase Owens on July 4th will book their tickets to the B block. Now, I understand that Rohei Oiwa makes sense for to beat Don Fale and move it in there. I mean, Chase Owens is going into this B block, right?
I don't know what they're going to do anymore. I
mean, safe to not try to predict.
You would think that Oiwa would be in. But they seem to be. I mean, why bring these guys back and repackage them and push them if they're just going to lose these matches and then fuck off again for a year? Because then you're not going to see these guys again for another. Like, why would they put all that effort in if they're just going to lose? So I think it's a safe bet that at least one of them is going to get through.
Yeah, I worry. Yeah, I think Chase is. I'd put Chase at a near lock to get through. Fale would be the real, like, oh, God, we've really lost the plot here. But, I mean, Dominion, if you want an example of losing the plot. New Japan Dominion, universally panned as well. If you think we're being hard on New Japan, even the most hardcore New Japan fans are really down in the dumps right now. So there you go. Clap, get into it. You are not doing daily G1 audio this year, right? Please do not.
I mean, I probably should, right?
For God's sakes, do not. That's going to be dire.
So G1.
All right. I would not commit yourself to that. I would say let's wait and see how. If Don Fale and Chase Owens both punch their tickets into that thing, you cannot watch that thing daily. Unless you agree to just skip because you are going to lose your fucking mind by like night 6.
I mean, it did the Champion Carnival. Could it be any worse than that?
It could, yes.
That wasn't a great tournament.
If I'm going to read the A block if Don Fale is in it, okay? Let's assume Cal Newman gets in it and Don Fale is in it. David Finlay, Evil, Sonata, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Don Fale, and Cal Newman. Throwing some Yu Uemura in there, some Goto. Did I say Sonata? Did I remind you Sonata? David Finlay, Evil, Sonata, and Don Fale. You're going to do that? You're going to sign up for that? B block.
That's the job.
B block. Ren Narita and Chase Owens. You're going to watch. I mean, God bless you. There's got to be a better way. There has to be some way to cover the G1, but not necessarily commit. Well, hey, if you want to commit to it, you can. But I would not. Well, wait and see. How about we wait and see?
People demand it. That's the job.
I don't know if they demand it this year. I think enough people. Well, there was a lot of people on our Discord that's like, "Oh, tell Joe not to do the G1 audio this year. He's gonna lose his mind. He's not gonna be able to handle it by night 11. He's gonna be fucking just getting punchy, just getting all depressed." But you know what? It's one of our hallmarks of the Patreon, so we'll see.
Can I, as we transition off of this, bring something up that's really annoying to me?
Yes.
I don't know why I'm asking you if I could do that.
It's my show. It's half of it's your show. Go for it. Yeah.
So Tony Khan.
Oh, are you becoming an anti-Tony Khan guy now? You decided we're pivoting to that? You're like, you know what? Do you want me to use an AI picture of Tony Khan in our thumbnail?
You didn't even let me finish.
Okay. Well, I thought you were burying him, but.
So Tony Khan is out there in France or whatever, in Cannes or however you pronounce that shit. And he was talking about how AEW is doing better than ever and how they're doing better ratings now than they were last year. And then he said they're doing better year over year, which they're not. Okay. And everyone's getting on his case for that because year over year, quarter versus quarter, they're obviously the ratings are down and by a significant amount. But it's pretty obvious what he meant by that. And what he actually did literally say was that they were up since the end of last year was the first thing he said. And they are. Quarter 1, 2025, the viewership is up versus quarter 4, 2024. That's what he meant. Now, he did say year over year after that. He misspoke or whatever. And that part isn't true. But it's crazy how everybody is hyper fixating on that when if you're just using common sense, you knew what he meant. But is this really what everything, and I know this is rhetorical, this is what everything is reduced to though, right? Catching people on technicalities and, no, he said year over year, he's a liar. Tony Khan's a liar. Tony Khan, man. We all know he meant end of 2024 versus beginning of 2025. We all know he meant that. That's what he said at the beginning of the statement. And now we got, of course, the whole goof troop of the usual goofs jumping all over him, calling him a liar. We got Brandon Thurston fact-checking him with his WrestleNomics numbers. Now we got, awful announcing, putting up articles, calling him a liar. And it's like, when does common sense ever come into this?
No, it can't.
He was speaking off the cuff. It wasn't a fucking press conference. It's not an investor call. It's not like he was speaking off the cuff to some reporter. And he said year over year after he said better than the end of last year. And that's what we're getting about. We got to get him.
Yeah, well, at some point, what we're going to do is this guy's just never going to do any interviews ever again. He's just going to be going to do what Vince McMahon did for half of his life, or just never do fucking interviews, never talk to anybody, Because if it's going to be a gotcha every single time, there's no point in even bothering.
It really is crazy. It's you think you could just say, well, yeah, I know he misspoke. And he said year after year.
You gotta get him. You got him. You got him. You got to get a bunch of likes and retweets because you got him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
You caught him in a lie.
Exactly.
He's lying. Yeah.
It's just it's so like disheartening and frustrating sometimes. But that's something that over the last 24 hours or so has just really been annoying, because it's like you knew the point he was trying to make. And he's just speaking off the cuff, but you can't. It's What would be the point of that huge lie anyway? Like what's
I got him. I lied to this guy on Yahoo Finance about our quarters. I don't know. Well, WWE would never lie about any aspects of their business. So, but Tony will, because he's a liar. So yeah, I don't know what to tell you. I
mean, Tony's a promoter. He's gonna lie about shit.
Yes,
but it's like
yes, every businessman, believe it or not.
This was clearly just a situation where he used an unfortunate phrasing after he got the phrasing right 5 seconds earlier. But everybody is kind of ignoring that part of it, and they're jumping all over the part where he was like, no, year over year, and he didn't mean whatever. He clearly didn't mean that. He mean it like that. He knows that everybody sees the numbers. You think he doesn't know that everybody sees the numbers?
I think that guy is well aware that everybody sees the numbers, yes. That guy more than anybody is well aware that everybody sees the numbers, for sure. Because he was once one of those guys that was seeing all the numbers and talking about them. So, yep. Anyway, we'll get to AEW in a second here, real quick. Yuma Anzai, just want to talk about this. All Japan Pro Wrestling announced earlier today that Yuma Anzai will, quote, miss all tournaments between July 1st and August 31st. Tournaments being, shows. We would like to apologize to all the fans who were looking forward to Yuma Anzai's matches and ask for your understanding. The tournaments he will miss: all of the matches in the Summer Action Series 2025, all the matches in the Fierce Battle Summer Action Wars 2025, All Japan Pro Wrestling's, they got some charity show, the 12th Kings Road Tournament, Sunday, August 24th at Korakuen Hall, Saturday, August 30th, the Big Time Show, and then August 31st at Kobe Hall. He will also be missing those too. So he is, I don't know. Yeah, July 1st through August 31st, he's just out. He's gone. Now, I don't know if that means just All Japan stuff, if he's doing something somewhere else. I don't know where. He's obviously not in the G1. He's not in, I don't think, N1, Noah's N1. I don't think lines up. I think that's after the period. So I don't know. I don't know if he's going to Europe. I don't know if he's just taking some time off. But there you go. Yuma Anzai will not be in All Japan Pro Wrestling for a little while.
I don't know anything about this. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody knows if he's hurt. Nobody knows if he's taking a break. Nobody has any clue what's going on here with
they
Yuma
break
Anzai.
up that silly little stable with Rena Yabe and Rising Hayato, and I assume they're done. That little stable.
I don't know. I'm not fully
is.
caught up. Yeah, I'm not fully caught up on All Japan right now, but just saw this.
So I just want to demonstrate this for you, okay? Dynamite's averaging 618,000 viewers in quarter 2, 2025. They were averaging 610,000 viewers quarter 4, 2024. And remember, this year, they presumably have lost some number of viewers to Max, right? So, or Max, I should phrase that the other way around. Obviously, there's some number of viewers watching on Max as well.
Yeah.
So obviously, and quarter 1 this year, they averaged 618,000 viewers versus 610,000 viewers quarter 4. And Max started quarter 1, 2025. So he was not incorrect when he said that they've grown viewership since last year, since the end of last year. And he said that before he unfortunately added year over year.
Yeah, so now everybody's looking at quarter 1 or quarter 2, 2024 versus quarter 1 and quarter 2, 2025.
He gave them a reason to call him a liar, even though he initially said we've grown since last year, which is what he meant. And Collision, same thing. They're averaging 385,000 viewers this quarter for Collision. Quarter 4, 2024, they were averaging 348,000 viewers. And again, obviously, there's also people watching on Max, which didn't exist quarter 4, 2024. Right. So he wasn't like trying to lie to, and he's right. There's more people watching AEW this year than were watching AEW at the end of last year. There's no, he's right about that.
Right. No matter what the drop may or may not be on TV, you are obviously, like you said, gaining people.
There isn't even a drop. It's a rise in TV.
Right. So that already tells you, yes, it's worth. And then there's also people watching on Max.
And you're just stacking Max on top. And if you go back and listen to how he answers that question, he says we've grown since the end of last year. Then he says we're up year over year. He misspoke. You can't misspeak.
No.
We got to be better than this.
We aren't. We aren't. That's the problem. We aren't.
And I think we're qualified to speak on this because we'd be the first people to shoot something like that down. We fact check all the time. We don't give a shit. What about a fact? We always fact check, but he clearly misspoke. Let's not be stupid about this. But we can't help ourselves.
The discourse is very stupid, and that is a big problem. It's not changing. It's not going anywhere. But yep. Let's talk positively about AEW here because I thought that Dynamite was a great show last night. Grand Slam at Mexico Dynamite. You have a Thursday Dynamite review up at flagshippatreon.com. $5 tier to unlock that show. $10 if you want to upgrade to the $10 tier that unlocks everything we ever did on our Patreon, written stuff, live shows, all the other good stuff is available on the $10 tier at flagshippatreon.com. And if you just want to listen to the Thursday Dynamite review, that is on the $5. And real quick thoughts on that show. Because obviously you gave extended thoughts there. I thought the atmosphere was incredible. It was exactly what I wanted that show to be. It was a show that I was really, really looking forward to for a very long time because doing live TV from Arena Mexico, I thought would be really, really cool. And the fans fucking loved it. I mean, that was the thing too. I was like, how are the fan bases going to react? How are the Mexican fans going to react to it? When it sold tickets very quickly, I was pretty hopeful that there was going to be a real hot audience and a real full audience, and it was a hell of a lot of fun, really aided by that crowd being super into everything and being very vocal throughout the entire show. So that aspect was cool. I thought the arena looked great. I thought Arena Mexico looked good. I thought it had just enough of they didn't change it up too much to make it not look like Arena Mexico, but it also had it looked like an AEW show too. It didn't feel like completely out of place for an AEW show either, but it also felt very much like an Arena Mexico show. You said this in your Thursday Dynamite review, and that was going to be my big takeaway from the show, was that MJF was fucking masterful. He was so good in that match with Mystico. And people always get fooled by MJF, and they always project maybe their thoughts on MJF towards everybody. Oh, everyone thinks he sucks, and everybody thinks he's a bad heel, and he does this, and everyone's offended, and I turn the show off because he's so bad at being a heel or whatever. And it just tells me that you don't know what wrestling heels actually are, that you're a new wrestling fan that just started watching wrestling in the last 10 years or whatever, or even the last 15 years, because there's not heels like this anymore. You're not supposed to think heels are good. You're not supposed to think heels are smart. You're not supposed to think heels are cool or doing the right thing. You're supposed to think heels are detestable and stupid and annoying. And who's more stupid and annoying and detestable than MJF? Especially going into Mexico, where, by the way, he comes out and these fans are going to be very offended by him. Well, you know what? They just fucking booed him, and then Mystico beat him. You know what I mean? Like that's he beat him by DQ and stuff, and it's all going to build to, I believe, a match in All In Texas. We'll talk about that in a bit. But like, people get caught up in this MJF stuff all the time, but there's not many heels like MJF anymore. And he comes into that arena, and the fans fucking hate the guy, and Mystico comes out, and he's a goddamn hero to every single one of these fans out there. I mean, that's it, man. That's it. That's the essence of pro wrestling right there, is to have your babyface be a hero and the heel to be detestable and everybody want to beat the fuck out of him. I mean, that's it. That's what it is right there. And how people don't see it with MJF time and time and time again. And trust me, I'm not the biggest MJF defender ever. There's several times over the last couple of years where I've rolled my eyes or thought that this guy's way off base. But when he's on, he's on. And what he's been doing with Mystico, I think, is on. That is MJF done to the best and the perfect degree. And I thought that was, what an atmosphere that was. Mystico coming out after MJF just gets booed resoundingly. And then that match too. Just I thought MJF was phenomenal that entire night, and especially in that match. So that was a lot of fun. And I thought everything else on the show was really good. And there's not much more I can say that I think you didn't already say on the Thursday Dynamite review, but I just wanted to get a couple thoughts out there about it. I thought the 14-man tag was just a hell of a lot of fun, a perfect way to start the show. And I thought Hangman Page coming out and speaking, doing that promo in all Spanish was really, really cool. And I don't know if you saw the translation of that promo, but it was a pretty, I mean, I'll tell you, the juxtaposition of Rey Mysterio coming out and saying, hey, WWE's finally legitimized Lucha Libre to what Hangman Page said to that fan base, very different. Very, very different in a lot of ways. But, this was a cool moment for AEW and CMLL. And they've had a cool week as well, which I think let's do the rest of this week now as we're kind of running out of time here on this show. Tuesday. Now, you said you did not watch this CMLL versus AEW Ring of Honor show. So do you want to take me through it and I can kind of give you some pithy thoughts about each match?
Sure. I have not watched it yet. I will probably watch it at some point, but I heard the main event was incredible.
That's a must watch. Yeah, the main event is absolutely Now, I thought this entire show was great. I thought the entire show, where the difference of Grand Slam Mexico felt like an AEW show in Arena Mexico that's being properly done. You know what I mean? There's an homage and there's a tribute to Arena Mexico and an understanding of the building that you're in and the importance of the building that you're in, but it's still ultimately an AEW show happening in this building, right? This show on Tuesday was like a true CMLL show loaded with AEW talent and Ring of Honor talent. So it was kind of fun in that sense. It felt more of an official CMLL show, but the stakes were raised a little bit because you had a couple better wrestlers in there. You had Josh Alexander in there, and then you had this main event, which just blew the fucking. I mean, that anybody listening to this, I'm not telling you have to watch the whole show. It's 2.5 hours. I think it's a pretty easy watch in my mind. But if you are pressed for time or whatever, absolutely, everybody has to watch Bandito versus Mascara Dorada. Now, I don't know. Some people are saying it's like a match of the year contender. I don't know if I'm quite there, but I thought it was really, 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 really good. And I'm positive that you're going to like it. And I think most people watching this or listening to the show right now are going to have a lot of fun with that match. But really good action. Bandito was over like a motherfucker in the show. And Dorada, who I'm always kind of, sometimes I'm in, sometimes I'm kind of out. He hit everything perfectly. It was like we talked about with Vikingo and Chad Gable last week, where you wanted Dorada to go out there and just nail everything. Sometimes he can be a little sloppy. Sometimes he can mess something up. He nailed everything. Bandito looked great. The crowd was hot. I mean, that is a must-watch match for the ROH World title. Cannot recommend that match on Tuesday enough.
All right. So what else was good?
All right. So rest of the show, I can just do it real quick because there's not a ton there. So Persephone and Red Velvet. Now, you might think, oh, God, Persephone and Red Velvet. This was actually pretty good. This was not too bad. And it was a non-title match. I'll tell you, non-title match. So Persephone got the win. So hopefully she's going to get a shot at what's Red Velvet have? The ROH Pure. She's the ROH Pure women's title holder, right? I think.
No.
I'll stir it up. Velvet, what does she have?
TV.
That's right. Okay. Well, Persephone deserves a TV title match here because she beat Red Velvet, and this is pretty good. The crowd was into it, and Red Velvet, as she's never been the great shakes, but she's never been terrible. And I thought she looked really good here. And I've always been a big fan of Persephone. I like a lot of what I see from her. I like how the power style that she has, and she was just kind of throwing around Red Velvet like crazy and dropping big power bombs on her and stuff like that, big lariats and stuff. So it was kind of a powerhouse versus kind of the high flyer was the way that they did this story and this match. And yeah, I think it was pretty solid. And I was like, oh, I'm pleasantly surprised by that. So the next matchup, this was a match that I really went in with zero expectations and actually ended up rocking. Was Angel de Oro and Nebula Roja defending the CMLL World Tag Team titles against Crew, your guys' Crew, Action Andretti and Leo Rush. And this was fucking great, man. These guys just flew around, did a bunch of suicide dives, a bunch of big spots. Leo Rush is perfect in Mexico. He fits like a glove. Action Andretti was great here too. And the crowd just fucking loved this match. They were just all in on these guys just jumping all over the place, just bouncing all over the place, doing big spots, doing big dives, and De Oro and Roja got the win, retained the titles. But this was a way, way better match than I went in expecting. So this was definitely one that I'd recommend. If you're going to watch the show, definitely make sure you do not skip the CMLL World Tag Team title match. Now, Hologram and Neon was up next, and this is, I would say, the only match that was really disappointing on this night. I went in with pretty high expectations about Hologram and Neon, and it was okay. It was just whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, they weren't on their best. I don't know. It just didn't feel like it had a great flow to it, and it was still okay. But I would say probably, to me, comfortably the worst match on the show. And that's not really dogging this match because it was fine, but I think everything else on the show was really, really great. Because then you had Atlantis Jr. and Josh Alexander. And obviously, if you watch Grand Slam Dynamite, you know that this Arena Mexico crowd, little smarky, they fucking hate Atlantis Jr. They do not like this guy at all. So it's an interesting. So we always talk about these. How do wrestlers react to a crowd maybe not reacting the way that they wanted them to or expected them to? Because Josh Alexander, you could tell, entered Arena Mexico thinking, I am the bad guy. I am the heel. I am part of Don Callis' family. I will be the Rudo here. Atlantis Jr., he's the son of Atlantis. He's going to be over like fucking like nothing. He's going to be the biggest guy. He's a big baby face or whatever. He had no idea how to work at the beginning of this match. He was really apprehensive. He was trying to get the crowd to boo him. He was doing some stuff that would normally get the crowd to boo, but it didn't matter. They kept cheering him and cheering him and cheering him. And Atlantis, who has now gotten kind of used to the fans booing him here and there, was able to kind of adjust it. And little by little, you could see the wheels turning as Atlantis is like, no. I'll be the bad guy. You be the good guy. Just go with it. And then Josh Alexander did start kind of going with it, even though he's supposed to be the heel. And in canon in AEW, he's part of the Don Callis family. But the match got pretty good as Josh Alexander said, all right, I'll be the good guy. You be the bad guy. And the match actually ended up being really fun with a very hot crowd because they were just there to boo and get mad at Atlantis Jr. So that was a hell of a lot of fun. And it wasn't the best match on the show. Bandito and Dorado was clearly the best match on the show. But you are going to have so much fun. And anybody listening to this, I'm telling you, you have to watch this match. Gran Guerrero and Ultimo Guerrero teaming up with Averno and Euphoria versus Hechicero, Konosuke Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, and Rocky Romero. I cannot tell you how much fun this match was. I mean, this was Ultimo raising the roof, Kyle Fletcher, making fun, doing a big spot and then fake raising the roof or whatever was a whole hell of a lot of fun. It was just the CMLL old guys versus a lot of the young guys. Takeshita and Fletcher and Romero's there too, and Hechicero's there too. It was a blast. It was a blast, and the crowd loved it. And the old guys were great. The old guys delivered on everything. Ultimo Guerrero is so fucking proud of that MLW openweight title that he has. He comes out with it all the time and points to it. It's like, I am the MLW openweight champion. And the crowd loves him, man. Think of how much over Ultimo Guerrero has been recently after he won that MLW. I mean, he is a fucking megastar. And not that Ultimo Guerrero wasn't a big star in CMLL, but there's like, why do they care that this man won the MLW openweight title? I don't know why, but they do. They love him that much more. But this was a hell of a lot of fun. Really great action and just the Don Callis family bouncing around and being the Rudos for Ultimo Guerrero and Averno and Euphoria was just a hell of a lot of fun. So that match was great. And then Bandito and Mascara Dorado was great fun too. So I would just watch this whole Tuesday show. Like I said, it was about 2.5 hours. I think it's an easy watch. Nothing was skippable, and I think it's a nice 1-2 punch. With Grand Slam Dynamite. But I had a hell of a lot of fun watching it. So I'm really glad I checked it out.
And then Friday's the Fantasticomania show. So. Yes,
and that show looks great. Yeah, that main event is going to be, at least the listed main event. I don't know if that's true, the main event. But Money, her newly won CMLL World Women's title against Catalina, I believe. Do you think she's going to lose that title?
That's an easy one.
No, I know. I wasn't sure who she was against at first. I was kind of scrolling down. She's not going to lose this title right away, is she?
What?
No, right?
You're going to lose before All In? Not a chance.
I agree. I wouldn't do that either. I just thought it was kind of funny. I thought the 1-2 punch of doing another title match so quickly was kind of interesting, but no, she's not losing this thing. I wouldn't do that. I think before All In, they'll collect
there is, Rich, there's 0% chance. What do you even...
Catalina's not getting this thing? You don't think so?
She's not going to lose her undefeated...
No, I know.
Whole deal before All In to La Catalina of all people.
Catalina, now, come on.
Of course she's beating.
Gotta have faith. Gotta have faith in La Catalina. Bandito and Hologram versus Mascara Dorada and Mystico. So that should be pretty fun. Lightning match: Kevin Knight versus Neon. Kevin Knight versus Neon. Volador Jr. versus Ricochet. Now that is going to be fun. Can you imagine the fucking shit-eating grins on both of those two dudes? Volador Jr. and Ricochet.
Heels, so.
Yeah. I don't know what they're going to do, but yeah, they're just going to be fighting back and forth to figure out who's going to have the bigger shit-eating grin on their face as they're doing heel stuff here. But Volador Jr. and Ricochet. Hiromu, Shingo, and Teton, their final time as LIJ versus Francesco Akira, Templario, and TJP. Templario still a member of the United Empire, in case you were wondering.
What about TJP?
Now TJP's there. TJP's there.
Yeah, but is he a member of United Empire?
Well, in here, they list him as parentheses, United Empire, parentheses, Akira, Templario, TJP, so I think so.
He doesn't think he's a member of United Empire.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he does the finger thing, if he wears the shirt, whatever the fuck might be. But Ultimo Guerrero versus Yota. No Suji, just straight up Yota, back to his excursion name. Just straight up Yota, Ultimo Guerrero versus Yota. You also have Crew who are hella over in CMLL. The Crew, they love the Crew in CMLL. Action Andretti and Leo Rush, Robbie X and Rocky Romero versus Magnus, Rihito, Dufunto, and then Zandokan Jr. I don't know who Dufunto.
What's the other guy's? What's that guy's name before Zandokan?
Who's that guy? I have no idea who this fucking guy is. Dufunto. Defunto? I don't know if I've ever seen this guy.
Try again. You'll get it eventually.
No, I'm not going to get it. I don't know. I don't know who this guy is. Look at his mask. See if I've ever
seen. What a fake fanboy.
I know. Who is this dude? I feel like I've never seen this guy.
I mean, it's an Arena Mexico regular. I don't know why you wouldn't have seen him, but
I don't know. Anyway. And then Red Velvet versus Kira. Red Velvet versus Kira on this show. So that's Fantastica Mania Mexico. Friday night. Oh, they did Global Wars too. They taped that last night. That's going to be on, is that Saturday? This ROH CMLL Global Wars, is that taking place of Collision or no?
I don't think so.
Is that just a separate?
Where'd you hear that?
I don't know when that's happening. Oh, is that the Ring of? It's for Ring of Honor, probably, right?
I don't think it's airing Saturday.
Okay, is that just the Ring of Honor show? Where are they going Saturday then?
Let me see if I can find that.
Because are they packing up and heading off somewhere on Saturday? That seems quick, right? Yeah, they're going to Kent, Washington. Oh my. Okay. Yeah. Huh. All right. So that's not. I guess maybe is that airing now? Is that on ROH right now? I guess it is our ROH show because it is ROH CMLL Global Wars. So maybe that's replacing this week's Ring of Honor. Anyway, you had Blue Panther versus Lee Moriarty. Athena and Red Velvet versus Persephone and Thunder Rosa. And then ROH World Television Title Proving Ground match, Teton versus Nick Wayne. So I guess that already aired, so I can spoil it, but I copy and pasted.
Is that did they turn around and air that tonight, or is that?
I was going to say that might have aired tonight. Then we're doing the show here, so I don't know for sure, but that makes sense. That it would air on in place of the normal Ring of Honor. So what the hell, Collision in Kent, Washington. I can't believe they're going to pack Arena Mexico up on Friday night and then head on over to Kent, Washington. All right, well, good for them. And all right, so that is CMLL and AEW. Busy week for them, but that Fantastica Mania show looks really good. The Tuesday show was good. Wednesday was good. I might as well watch the Global Wars show, right? Get on my Watch ROH, my Honor Club, and watch the Global Wars.
No, you mean get on my ROH?
Yeah, no. I've never used your ROH. I have my own ROH.
All right.
I use your All Japan. I'm not going to debate that. I use your All Japan. I use someone's Wrestle Universe. I don't even know if that's your Wrestle Universe. It's got a weird name. It's got a weird name. It's not yours, I don't think.
It's not mine then.
Yeah, it's someone else's.
Mine is email.
Yeah, give me the email and the password. Let me double check.
Password,
here.
Payment. The payment is a Visa with the number. Yeah, no, that's not. I don't think you're using mine.
Okay, I'm using someone else's Noah then. But I always have my own Ring of Honor. I don't know why. I should probably not. And I always use my own Dragon Gate as well. I always use my own Dragon Gate subscription. But anyway, Tuesday CML show was a lot of fun. So definitely check that one out. And all right, so we're told that Global Wars is apparently airing next week, maybe. All right, so clear as mud from Ring of Honor on when that's airing. So it did not air tonight. It's airing next week, maybe. No one's sure. Anyway, all right. Speaking of nobody knowing what the fuck's going on, let's talk about TripleMania. Regia 3. Or Regia. I don't know how the fuck. Do you know how to pronounce this shit? TripleMania. I know TripleMania. I got that from my man Matt Stryker. But Regia, I don't care. Does anybody care? Nobody cares. It's the third one of these fake TripleManias that they've done. And you watched everything on the show that aired, at least. So this is another great thing. Where
everything. They aired 3 matches, and you're like dead set against watching these 3 little matches.
Repulsive. You know how modern TNA repulses me? AAA repulses me with their fucking piss yellow mat, their bad wrestling, and their bad angles, and their bad stories.
Well, what was interesting about this is I wanted to see if they were going to straighten up their act and have a show that resembled Worlds Collide, or if they were going to go back to just being shit fuck AAA. And the answer is they went back to being shit fuck AAA.
My God, did they go back to being shit fuck AAA? Yeah.
So this was right back to business as usual without WWE holding their hand or overseeing the show. and it was the usual AAA slop. I mean, it was, honestly, the first two matches were fine. The 4-way for the TNA X Division title, Joe Hendry was over big, which tells you that these AAA fans are locked into what's going on in America because they were really into Joe Hendry and singing the song and all of that. And he worked a lot of the match and he got the biggest pops for sure. And they were rooting for him, but Moose retained the title. There was he stole a pin. I think Macias punched Wagner in the dick. And then I think that's what it was. And
I was wondering who took the pinfall, and I love how El Macias did not take the pinfall. They found a way to take.
No, and then El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. and Macias set up an angle after the match. Who knows if it'll ever pay off? But
you can never, for God's sakes, you can never assume that a AAA story is going to pay off.
Yeah, and then the 4-way for the tag titles. They did get the tag titles off of Forastero and Sansone, because that whole uncomfortable situation with, working in the same place as Vakir now.
Yeah.
The Nemeths were in that, Pagano and Psycho Clown. But again, Angel. Just
straight up Angel.
Yeah, Angel Garza and Humberto Carrillo. Yeah, Angel and Berto.
Angel and Berto. Yeah, call them by their their current names, Angel and Berto.
Again, very popular in front of this crowd. So they're obviously clued into what's going on in WWE. And they won the titles. I think they did a stolen pin for this finish, too. I'm trying to think what the finish was. I know that the WWE team pinned the champions. But I know there was some bullshit. I think I can't quite remember, but I think this was also a stolen pin. But not a stolen pin, but it doesn't matter.
It wasn't a deserved win. Angel didn't pin, he didn't hit a move and pin a guy, right? Is what you're saying.
The finish was like Psycho Clown and Pagano were on the verge of winning, and then there was some shenanigans, and then the WWE team stole the win, but they didn't steal a pin the way Moose did, but they stole the win.
Right.
But I just can't remember.
Undeserved victory for
I can't
Angel
remember
and
I can't remember the sequence of events, but that was like the plan was. But the problem is the fans didn't rally behind Psycho Clown and Pagano. They were clearly behind.
That seemed to be a problem with this show. I definitely in the main event, fans seem to be on an opposite end of the spectrum of what AAA wants.
Yeah, and then the main event, of course, is where you can jump in, where they did the cage match, and we speculated maybe they'll just put it back on Alberto since they got the Gable match out of the way. But that's not the direction they went. They kept it on Vikingo. Who knows if it's a WWE directive? It probably is. But again, the crowd liked Alberto, which screwed up all of the psychology of this thing, because Alberto had all of his goons out there, Macias and JBL. And
yes, that JBL. If someone just said, what, JBL? Yes, that JBL.
But not Dorian Roldan. He wasn't out there, which ended up becoming part of the story in the aftermath, because Patron is now cutting promos saying, where was Dorian? Why wasn't he out there helping me? So they're already like foreshadowing him just full out going babyface and turning against this heel conglomeration. But then Vikingo had all his guys. He had his dad and he had Octagon Jr., who just could not get the fire extinguisher to work.
While the crowd boos the entire time.
Yeah.
The psychology was insane. Because Alberto, we keep talking about this. People figure, it's Alberto and everybody hates him. Well, not this crowd in AAA. They do not hate him at all. And I was actually looking at the comments, because AAA put this up on YouTube for free, because of course they did, like a day after the show aired in Mexico. But if you look at the YouTube comments, I was going through, a lot of them were saying like, Alberto needs revenge after what they did to him, and like the AAA fucked Alberto. And so it's really weird, because it's like you kind of you sort of theorized that last week when we were talking about this, is that do these fans resent Vikingo because they know that Vikingo got the title because WWE wanted him to get the title, and Alberto basically had to get rid of the title because WWE didn't want to work with Alberto. It's really strange. You know what I'm saying? Because like in story, like Alberto's with the company, or was with the company, and he was the guy that was being helped by the guy that runs the company or whatever. So it doesn't make sense that the fans would say, oh, it's bullshit what they did to Alberto, or oh, they fucked him or whatever. So it was really weird because there was a number of comments that said that. So it kind of leads to your speculation that maybe these fans are a little annoyed that Alberto lost this title and Vikingo just got it, even though that's not how the story was supposed to go. And so Alberto comes out and he's a made man. I mean, he is just getting big. And Vikingo, and it's boos from the beginning. It's not like Vikingo did anything in this match that made him boo. It was like when he got
introduced.
Got introduced and he booed, and he did every move and they booed. And then his goons came out, Octagon came out and they booed, and his dad came in and they booed. I mean, they were just booing the shit out of Vikingo. And eventually when he wins the match, he climbs up to the top of the cage and falls to the mat. They're just boo, boo. It's just more boos. It's just like, oh, this is psychology is all off. This is just a disaster.
Yeah, because all these spots were designed to be big pops for Vikingo, but they would boo. Like when his friends would help him. Octagon Jr. couldn't get the fucking gimmick to work. But Hamburguesa came in. They booed Latin Lover. So Latin Lover, they cut to the back.
This is so good.
He drives his sports car like literally 10 feet.
Okay,
and then gets
I have
out.
to set the scene. I have to set the scene better. So they cut to the back, and it's one of those new Corvettes. It's like the new style of Corvettes or whatever. So it's a white of the new style Corvettes. So they cut to the back, and the Corvette is stationary. It's not moving. They cut, and the Corvette is stationary. It's sitting there. And all of a sudden it goes, and this Corvette proceeds to drive about 7 miles per hour for about 10 feet and then stops. And then Latin Lover gets out. They're like, oh, Latin Lover. Like, why did he drive 10 feet?
And the bay door wasn't open. So it's not like it wasn't like they were implying he came in from the outside because the bay door was closed too. So he basically just moved the car 10 feet. And
he revved the engine once and then moved the car
right.
10 feet and then got out with his arm in a sling. His arm in a sling because he recently had shoulder surgery. So he's supposed to be the big time conquering babyface that's going to help
with
Vikingo.
One arm but the point is, even if they had timed even if they had timed it right while the car was moving, where was it coming from? Because the bay door was closed.
It was closed. Yeah.
So it's not, the whole thing was just stupid. It was like watching WCW in 2000.
Yeah.
And which is the AAA.
Which is what
That's
AAA is. Yeah. It's just stupid WCW. Just the stupidest company.
Then they boo him too, because they don't want Vikingo to win and they don't want people to help Vikingo. So they're booing Vikingo. They're booing everybody helping Vikingo. Then the finish is supposed to be Latin Lover handcuffing Alberto to the ropes.
Oh, yeah?
So Vikingo...
Really? Are you sure?
So Vikingo could get over the cage and win, but then the novelty handcuffs that they used snapped. And then Alberto had to stand there with his arm out waiting for them to figure something out. Latin Lover doesn't notice that the handcuffs snapped. Then when he finally notices, time is standing still, of course. He either got another pair or I don't know what they did, and they finally got him handcuffed. And Vikingo went over and won to a chorus of boos. These boos were louder than last time. Last time there was a smattering of cheers.
There was vitriol. There was vitriol to these fans.
They hated him. It was like he was a total heel. But the match, it's weird too, because when the match started, Vikingo was doing that heel thing where he was immediately trying to climb out of the ring, which is what heels do in cage matches at the start, not baby faces. But so they worked a lot of it with the reverse. It was just a mess all around. It's just a terrible match. The psychology was all off.
Just constant run-ins. It's a cage match, and the door is just open every second. You look to the ring, you look to the entrance ramp, and someone runs down to just open the door. They just walk in and open the door, and then they throw a kendo stick in, or they throw a table in, or they throw a chair in. It's just everyone's running in. You got Michael Hayes running in and slamming the door on Vikingo's head. You got That's Got to Be Kane runs in. They do that too. You got Big Show emerging from the mat to come in and throw Vikingo. It's just nonstop. El Macias, Nino Hamburguesa, Octagon Jr., fucking Latin Lover. It's just Vikingo's dad. It's just a nonstop. Why are we in the cage? If we're just going to open the door and guys are just going to run in, what is the cage for?
It's WCW 2000s.
It's just stupid.
And it's just right back to that. We thought maybe there's a glimmer of hope. Maybe, like I said last week, WWE will straighten this place out and it'll just be a halfway decent wrestling promotion. Nope. Right back to the same old shit. So, Now, I don't know what's going to happen when they finally do take over ownership, because I don't think they officially own it yet. But maybe there'll be more oversight, or maybe they just don't give a shit because they're running their house shows in Mexico. They announced their shows.
Yeah, super show.
And they're going to have some of the AAA talent on those shows to help draw. I think Iguana, and I don't remember who else. There's a couple of others who are going to be working those shows from AAA. But maybe they just don't give a shit, and it's just like, this thing is either not going to exist soon enough, and we're just going to absorb it totally and run WWE branded shows in Mexico, or maybe dual branded or something. Or maybe we just don't care what kind of shitty product that they keep giving to the Mexican fans, because as long as we get it over in America, maybe we can get some media rights money for it and sell a AAA show to one of the Spanish language channels in America or something like that, right? Like maybe they just don't give a shit how bad the shows are,
or we
for
can
the core audience.
CMLL a little bit, and by proxy hurt AEW a little bit by pumping money into this company. Like, yeah, I was very curious too if this was going to represent, like we talked about it last week, was this going to represent a change in the booking, and that WWE is going to have more of an influence, and I really don't. I mean, I saw no WWE influence in the show whatsoever, other than maybe the winners and the losers, Angel and Alberto, but that could be a AAA just playing up to their new owners too, and saying, hey, it'd be great if we'll give the titles to that guy. But the Vikingo thing is going to be an issue though, I think, because he's not. They're trying to push him. That's the guy that they want to push. That is their top guy. They're not pushing Psycho Clown. They're pushing Vikingo as the top guy, as the top dude in this new era of AAA. And how are they going to wrestle with that if the fans are just outwardly rejecting this guy like crazy? I mean, the biggest babyface in the company is Alberto, and they're not going to use him, and they don't want to use him.
Yeah, I think that they just want to give Vikingo over to the American fans.
Right.
I think that's what's more important to them. So, it's very early. This is the first major show since they bought them out. And again, they don't officially own it yet. Maybe as we get deeper into this thing, they'll be more hands-on. They'll take more control. Maybe some of the people running these shows won't even work there anymore once WWE fully gets their claws in. It's still new. But I think what we can say right now is it does seem like they're more concerned with the American audience than the look. This show sold out. It
did sell out though, yeah, and it was not announced a ton of time in advance too, and it's still sold out. So it's working no matter what.
So whatever they're doing, people go to the shows.
Right.
I don't know why, but people go to the shows, and like the WWE talent was over on the shows as well. Joe Hendry was over. I mean, he will be a WWE talent. Garza and Humberto were over on the show, which makes you think they don't. Which runs counter to the idea. Like, okay, so you would think that they would cheer for Vikingo, right? So why do they cheer for Alberto? I think it's not so much that they don't like WWE. They're singing Joe Hendry's song. They clearly like American wrestling. I think they don't like the idea of WWE acting as a puppeteer for their wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what they don't. That's why they're rejecting Vikingo.
That they had a story with Alberto and Vikingo, and they basically told them, stop that story, put that title on Vikingo. We need him.
With Latin Lover, you mean? Yeah.
With Latin Lover, yeah. And they basically said, no, fuck that. The title's got to go to Vikingo because that's who we want. And I think the fans, even though there are, like you said, they love Joe Hendry, they love Mr. Iguana, they love all this sort of stuff, that it just meddled a little too much. You know what I mean? A little too much meddling in their AAA maybe is the thought here. I don't know.
Yeah.
I know Cubs fan doesn't think that. Here's I'm reading a little bit of what he wrote on luchablog.com. He says, there's an idea the fans are rejecting Vikingo because he's WWE's pick. I don't think that's quite it. The AAA fans seem to love WWE and the big part of the story that night. The most popular wrestlers on the show were WWE SmackDown preliminary team Angel and Alberto. There were also Monterrey's Angel and Alberto, and that had a lot to do with the reaction. But the common thing from the three matches that aired was that the people with WWE connections were easily more over than the AAA wrestlers. The Monterrey crowd booed Psycho Clown and Pagano when they saw them as the threats of the Garzas. Joe Hendry was easily the most over guy in the four-way X Division match. The crowd reacted to Wagner too, just as much as the guy with the viral videos and the WWE appearances. Part of Alberto's appeal, and a point he often makes in his media appearances, is that he's a former multiple-time WWE champion, making the case that he's a genuine wrestling star because he's reached the very top of the industry, unlike Vikingo or anyone else.
All right, so he's essentially saying the same thing I'm saying, except that maybe they like Alberto because he has the pedigree of being a WWE champion.
Yes. Yeah, he's not saying that they're mad that Vikingo's the pick. They're just like, Alberto's the guy. Alberto used to, he was at WrestleMania and he used to face John Cena. Like, he's the big-time star.
Right. And these other guys are big-time stars because they're on TV in America.
Right.
And then, So, and Vikingo just isn't that. But the thing is, they never liked Vikingo all that much anyway. Like, they were pretty indifferent to him the first time he had the title. So, this is a guy who was never super popular with them to begin with, and now he doesn't have the pedigree these other guys have. But the more he works on WWE shows like Worlds Collide, maybe he'll grow on them, or maybe they'll just still see him as a phony. It's hard to.
It has always been weird, the Vikingo thing, because a lot of Western fans, we were way into Vikingo for years. And I do remember every time we would go and watch a AAA show, you'd always be a little surprised that he's not as over to that audience as you think he'd be. But yeah, they've never quite vibed with him one way or another. But it's
we got our answer. When they're left to their own devices, it's still shitty.
It sucks.
AAA.
It's garbage. Yeah, where's Jeremy Borash? I can't believe I will only watch AAA. I wrote this in the Discord, and someone said, "Can you imagine saying this a couple years ago?" But I will only watch AAA if Jeremy Borash books it. How about that?
I was watching it before they came around and before WWE was involved. I'm going to keep watching it
for sure.
Part of this fucking job is watching this bad, which is why I'm probably going to do G1 daily audio. You got to fucking watch it.
Got to do it. Yep.
You got to watch it. You don't have to be like Craich and blow off 2 matches of a 3-match show like lazy Craich. You just fucking buckle in and you watch it.
It was like a 2-hour video, man. How they only show 2 other matches? A bunch of bullshit?
Just bullshit going on.
Oh,
just fast forward it. Well, they opened it with a big in-ring segment with Dorian and JBL.
Okay, because I saw the video file was 2 hours, and I was like, fuck that. I'm just going to go to the cage match. I did not realize it was only the 2 matches.
Yeah, and I didn't know what any of them were saying except when JBL was doing all the like anti-immigration for heat shit and all that. But when the Mexican guys were talking, I didn't know, so I kind of just – I fast forward while they're talking because they don't translate it or anything. So I get the gist of it and I fast forward, and then you just get to the matches, and there's some bullshit in between the matches, not as much as you would think. And, if you just do that, it's not 2 hours. It's not, I think the file was 1 hour 50. I think, what are the 3 matches? Maybe an hour total, hour 10.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Something like that. It's not that bad. But, honestly, the 2 matches you didn't watch were way better than the cage match, but the cage match you have to watch.
It's an important match, yeah. AAA mega title. You can't miss a AAA mega title.
The 4-way tag match actually wasn't bad at all. It was fine. The 4-way tag. It was fine.
That looks okay. I think I could skip. I think Joe Hendry
and it was perfectly fine. Yeah, the 4-way singles match was not good. That was like a 2-star quarter. 1 and 3/4 2-star match. The 4-way tag was like a 3-star match, and the cage you saw was terrible. It was a dud. It's just an awful, terrible viewing experience for everybody involved. So that's the Vikingo experience, man. It's you get the Gable match, which is pretty good, and a couple times a year he has an incredible match, and then he has a bunch of matches like this. It's I don't know.
It's the experience. It's for better, for worse. That's Vikingo.
Yeah.
In all the glory. But there you go. So that is, we'll keep an eye, of course, on AAA as they continue to navigate this relationship of what the hell this is going to be. So, Cubs kind of looking at the Mexico City TripleMania card. I says, looks like Alberto versus Latin Lover, maybe. Vikingo versus Escobar for the mega title.
Oh, yeah. So here's why. I know why he thinks that. So the Garza and Humberto said this is step 2 in their 3-part plan. Step 1 was Worlds Collide. Step 2 is winning the tag titles. And step 3 is the people will find out. So I think the speculation is step 3 is going to be Santos Escobar winning the AAA title from Vikingo.
Okay.
And Alberto versus Latin Lover. I mean, Latin Lover is injured.
That's why there's a lot of there's 17 question marks next to Latin, because it's like Latin Lover question mark. I mean, guy he's showing off scars of his recent shoulder surgery. So I don't think, I don't know if he's going to make it out there for that match, but we'll see.
And they're built, and like I said, they look like they were building towards Macias versus El Hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr.
Yeah, he speculates that for the Latin American title, and he speculates Garza and Angel versus Psycho and Pagano for the tag titles too. So.
That would make sense. That would make a lot of sense too. Right. Yeah. So, I guess. I mean, by AAA standards, there's kind of a build towards all of those matches, I guess.
The influence is helping, I guess, sort of. Yeah,
I don't know.
Now, to be fair, how many times has Cubs or any of us been like, "Oh, that's what they're going to do," and then that's not at all what they do. So,
yeah, I mean,
but that was the old AAA. That was the old AAA. What about the new AAA? So,
yeah, but now you have this. It's like even makes it more unpredictable because you don't know when they're going to stick their beak in and when they're not going to stick their beak in. So it kind of makes it more unstable even with WWE. How much control are they going to want to have on this show? Right. I mean, they're running a Mexico City house show like 2 days before this show, which is
it's really weird.
Optimal.
Yeah, they're doing on the 26th. They're doing an Arena Mexico show, and then on the 27th they're doing an Arena Monterrey show. So it's really weird. And these are WWE house shows. They're advertised as
Arena Mexico. No. You meant they're not running.
No, not Arena Mexico. No. Sorry, no. Obviously not running Arena Mexico. Whatever that arena is in Mexico. I forget the other one.
That big arena in Mexico City.
Yeah, I forget what that one's called. But
people are going to call you out on that.
I know, of course they are. Of course.
So I had to stop you.
Thank you.
Tracks.
Appreciate it. But
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, the big arena. Yeah, of course they're not running Arena Mexico. Yeah. The big arena in Mexico City, I suppose I'll say that. But yeah, it's interesting because if you look at the poster, it's Rey Mysterio, it's Vakir, Penta, Phoenix, but otherwise then, it's Cody, The New Day, Yeet Man, Seth, Io Sky, Jacob Fatu. So it's I'm sure there will be AAA influence. It also says here, I'm looking at the WWE press release. It says fans attending WWE Super Show Mexico will see their favorite WWE superstars from both Raw and SmackDown in action, including Penta, Rey Phoenix, Dominic Mysterio, Cody Rhodes, Jey Uso, Jacob Fatu, Gunther, Stephanie Vakir, WWE Tag Team Champions The New Day, and many more. The events will also feature luchadors from AAA, including Pagano, Psycho Clown, and Mr. Iguana.
Yeah, so Iguana, Psycho Clown, and Pagano.
Yeah.
Sound like the three that they're, Okay. Yeah, I mean, no Vikingo, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is strange. Yeah, it's the just to have those three. The shows will also feature, because it didn't say and more, subject to change. It was it will also feature Mr. Iguana, Pagano, and Psycho Clown. That's it. So it's interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Like you said, they're kind of competing against themselves too by putting that show so close.
They're very close together. I think the WWE show is first.
Yes,
and then AAA shows a couple days later, or something like that. Not even like a week, right? Isn't it like a couple days?
Let's see when the TripleMania Mexico City show is. I want to say it was, what was it, the 1st of August or something?
Okay, WWE's running the 26th and the 27th. They're running Mexico City the 26th. AAA, the TripleMania show is, you're probably going to get it before me.
Oh, I thought so, but I lost it. I had it and I lost it. Damn it. August 16th. So I guess there's a little bit of a gap.
There's more space than I thought. It's more space than I thought. It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I thought I was with you. I thought it was just like a couple days after, but it's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fascinating. What's going on in the world of Mexico? It's Sue Williams, a great point in the chat, says WWE's so busy counter-booking, they actually counter-booked the own promotion, the promotion they own. They're like counter-booking shows. They're like, fuck, we own that promotion. Shit. Oh, whatever. Screw it.
Yeah.
Who cares? But, all right, there you go. That is it. I don't think we have anything else on our run sheet. So that has been another episode of the Flagship Podcast. Of course, flagshippatreon.com for all of our other bonus audio. You can go there and listen on the $5 tier, listen to bonus audio like the Thursday TV reviews, tour of the territories. You want to upgrade to that $10 tier, you're going to unlock all of our live shows, instant reaction lives, the Flagship Live, A lot of people listen to this right now. If you want to listen to it live, you can do that there at flagshippatreon.com. $10 tier, written content, live shows, bunch of other stuff, unlocks everything we've ever done on that $10 tier, flagshippatreon.com. And then, like I said, $5 tier for all of the bonus audio. Voicesofwrestling.com, also for previews, reviews, columns, and all that other good stuff. Voicesofwrestling.com/Discord if you want to join in the conversation on Discord. And Joe, I don't know if you've been following, but we got a Game 7 in the NBA Finals. Are you ready? This Sunday. You can't skip a Game 7 in any sport. You ready?
No, of course I'll watch that.
Sunday, 7 Central, God's time zone. Pacers blew out the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight to force this Game 7. So it's going to be a hell of a game. Hell of a game.
Yeah.
You've been watching?
I love a Game 7.
Oh, Game 7 hockey. I always do this thing. I don't know if you did this last night, but I make an admission, then I swear to God I'll get out of here and you can go bang your wife.
Hey now,
I could tell. You're like, let's go, let's get out of here. You know, I gotta eat a big salad and get to work here. So let's go.
I took my pill an hour ago. I'm fucking
you're raging here. Let's go. Yeah. Can't sit at this desk much longer. This thing is getting. But I was trying to watch.
So last night he used hymns.
Right. So good. Oh god! But I was trying to watch the final couple of minutes of every like the NHL. I didn't really care about the Stanley Cup, but I'm like, I gotta watch them win the cup. You know what I mean? I wasn't watching every game, but I always try to watch the last out of every World Series, the last minute of every NBA Finals, the last. You know, you gotta watch everything. You gotta watch the final of. So yeah, I always watch the end of the Stanley Cup Finals too. So. I don't care, but yeah, that's why you can't miss a Game 7. For God's sakes, you got to lock in. If it was Game 7 in the Stanley Cup, I'd watch it. You can never skip a Game 7. Game 7 World Series, you kidding me? You're never going to skip that, ever. So, I'll be locked in. Sunday, Pacers, Thunder.
Yeah, Halliburton played tonight, right?
He did. Played well, too. Didn't seem to have any ill effects of that calf, so.
A little hokey calf injury?
Seems all right.
A little hokey injury?
Had a little sleeve on it, got a little workout, but yeah, he seemed to be moving up and down the court just fine, so. Hokey calf injury. I don't know. Those things hurt. You ever pull a calf? That shit hurts a lot.
Anyway. Bret Hart says it's a hokey injury. So.
Is that Bret Hart? He calls it a hokey injury?
Well, remember he said in the El Dandy promo, he said that Dean Malenko had a hokey injury. Yeah. So he needed an opponent, right? That was the whole point.
Yeah, it was.
He's like, Dean Malenko with his hokey injury. I'll never, he's like, he's like, I'm the champ. I'll pick. I ought to know, right? And then he's like, El Dandy, and then Okerlund went nuts for some reason. Okerlund, very clearly not a PWO poster.
No, yeah, my God, not a DVD Death Valley Driver video reviewer at all.
Brett was like, what? He's a fine competitor.
Right. You ever watch this stuff in 93? You don't know shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Clown. Gene Okerlund, you fucking clown. Anyway, all right, that is it for us. So that has been the Flagship Podcast. That is Joe. I'm Rich. Talk to you again next time. Take care. Bye.
Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor.
And I'm Kelly.
And we are the co-hosts of Jumping Bomb Audio, the #1 show all about the world of Joshi Pro Wrestling. Episodes drop every other Monday where we discuss the biggest Joshi news, review shows, and preview the hottest upcoming Joshi action.
So whether you're a new fan or an old fan, we've got something here for you at Jumping Bomb Audio.
Check us out on the Voices of Wrestling Podcast Network.
有了 McDonald's 全新 McValue， 让你超乎期待，享受更多，全天提供，天天都有。像是买一份再加一份只要1元，优惠就在每个人最爱的休息站。当你要看季后赛时，快利用点餐优惠来办个车尾派对。当你在钟响前还有几分钟可以在早餐上省钱时，快利用 App 里的优惠。怎么选？你决定。McValue 总有更多选择。McDonald's 全新 McValue 让你超乎期待，享受更多。
In a world where pests terrorize unsuspecting citizens.
Wrong script, dude. This is Intrepid Edge Insecticide. You know, saves farmers' acres from soybean pests.
Oh, right. In a world with 2 modes of action and proven residual protection, Intrepid Edge Insecticide delivers fast knockdown for total control of soybean pests and more yield potential. Visit intrepidedge.corteva.us to protect your acres.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.